Do it.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Mountaineer Locker Room Then and Now. I'm Greg Christ, and I am joined by my good friends Frank Fear to my right, Mickey Plumley to my left. Coming to you live today from Kegler Sports Bar and Grill here in Morgantown. And right now we have got a packed house here. Pretty exciting. We came up for the spring bonanza or whatever it's been called, spring fling, yard sale. I'm not sure what they're having over there, but anyway, our plan was to come up and hopefully catch some former and current Mountaineers coming by to visit us here on the show, and we replaced our Wednesday show with today's show, so we're looking forward to it. Frank, great to have you here. Great to see you again. I think we're going to have a good day.
Boy, I'll tell you, it's always great coming back to Morgantown and coming to Kegler's, and we really appreciate Jerry and Doug for doing everything they did to make it possible for us to be here. And what you said is so true. The house is already packed, and they just opened this room about 10 minutes ago. So as soon as they open it up, it's packed, and we have a lot of guests that we're going to be talking to. And not only, as you mentioned, was the spring showcase today in football, but the Mountaineer baseball team is playing Utah. Game of a doubleheader, so we're really pleased to have a good crowd here.
Mickey, glad you could make it, and good to see you again as well. I know you're excited to be here. You see some old friends, and Mickey, of course, played on the 69 Peach Bowl champs, and I'd like to let everybody know that, but I know you're excited to be here as well.
Certainly am, Greg. I tell you, it's tremendous being back in Morgantown always, whether it's a spring game, fall, or football, basketball in the winter, or baseball coming up here in the springtime now. Good to be back home and amongst the blue and gold brethren.
That's right. And a lot of them coming in, and we're seeing a lot of familiar faces already rolling in. Some guys from the past we've talked to. We'll have them on the show hopefully here later on. Brian Jozwiak's here. Daryl Talley is here, of course, and we've got some other folks moving in.
Good to see you, buddy.
And we're going to have a good time talking.
Boogie Allen's here, right here.
Boogie Allen.
He's got
right here beside us.
Right. Yeah, so we'll have you on in a few seconds. We've got some tables over there, Boog, if you want to go over there, and we'll have you on in a few minutes.
Boogie Allen, we had him on our show a month or two ago, and great guest, and doing great things. And I know Frank, Mickey, both of us, one of the things we always talk about is these guys, what they do after they put the football pads away. And we have come across some amazing stories. Boogie's no different, doing great things as former Mountaineer players, and it's always exciting to hear their stories and see what they're up to these days.
And look who just walked in.
I can't see.
Oh, it's Major Harris.
Major Harris is here. All right. Hopefully we'll get Mage up here and talk to him a little bit. And we might have to send one of you guys out to recruit our guests here in just a little bit and get them lined up over here. That's what David Gorby usually does, but Gorb's not with us. So Gorb usually goes out and gets the guests and steers them over toward the waiting table, we call it.
Yep.
So maybe we can get Major and some of those guys over here in just a little bit. Anyway, before we start doing that, we want to mention to you that we have a great Mountaineer fan. Most people know him. Anybody that knows anything about Mountaineer football, Mountaineer basketball, Mountaineer sports in general, they know this guy, and his name is Mark Parsons. And Mark, kind enough to call in from Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And I ran into somebody from Murfreesboro the other day, and I said, hey, I know a guy from down there. I got a good buddy down there. Anyway, Mark's joining us by phone right now. And, Mark, we appreciate you taking some time for us.
Well, fellas, I appreciate you having me on. Always good to be on the show. Just want to kind of touch on what you were talking about the our theme is the Mountaineer locker room then and now, and I want to talk about the importance of all of the old players coming back for the spring showcase, and kind of intertwining the old with the new there. And I think it's very important that we celebrate the history of Mountaineer athletics and Mountaineer football. And I just think it's great that, all the teams in the past that were very successful, including Mickey's 69 Peach Bowl team, the 75 Peach Bowl team, all of Don Nealon's teams, and Rodriguez and Holgerson, Bill Stewart, everybody along the line, Coach Bowden, Carlin, they all had great team chemistry, and they've all stuck together after they left Morgantown and keep in touch. And I think it's just a great thing that what they're doing now with Kevin Johnston, the WVU Varsity Club, and tying in the old versus the new. And I think it's a great thing, and it's just very fitting with our show to be able to host some of these guys, and looking forward to all your interviews throughout the day.
Well, we appreciate that, Mark, and we appreciate all your help. For folks that don't know, Mark is pretty much responsible for our guest list that we come up with. He keeps us tuned in with guests. Mark seems to know, well, just about everybody and anybody affiliated with WVU. So he's always great about getting our guests together for us, and we appreciate that. Mark, I know you've been keeping a close eye on everything that's been going on up here with Coach Rodriguez now back at the helm. What's your thoughts so far on things you're hearing about what's going on?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. Everything is kind of tight-lipped. I mean, they're not releasing a whole lot of information to the press. From what I hear, he's satisfied with the quarterback room, but there's no real front runner there as far as who's going to lead the team. And then I've heard also that he's kind of disappointed with the offensive line. So I think we're going to see some with the portal open up in about 9 days. I think we're going to see a lot of activity there, and it's kind of unfortunate that some players will probably have to be released and move on to other programs. But I think there's an opportunity to bring in some people that can really help us here in the fall. And like I said, they've been very tight-lipped on everything. They just like this, they kind of did away with the spring game this year and they call it a showcase now. It's more fun for the fans than it is football, and everything's just kind of on a hush-hush. And I understand why they're doing that, because everybody's going to post close and so forth. I just think it's it's just a time to. I guess everybody's kind of keeping everything close to the vest. They're not releasing a lot of information on what's going on out there. I have heard, I heard about the quarterbacks. He's pleased with that, and there's a couple of receivers, with Gallagher and Bray. He's also talked highly of. And then I've been hearing Reed Carrico's name thrown around on defense a little bit. A linebacker is kind of becoming the lead there. So I think a lot of it just remains to be seen as to what the team's going to look like in the fall, and I think it's going to be closer to August before we really know a whole lot about what we got out there.
Yeah, it's like you said, being very tight-lipped about it, and a lot of these schools have canceled their spring games completely. They're not having anything.
Yeah.
And so that tells you, right there where the mindset is. And I even see now where some of them are maneuvering to try to have combined spring games. And I don't know what that would change, but they're worried about losing their players, and it's understandable. I mean, you can't, springtime, a lot of times these guys are making a roster, and a lot of these guys are out here getting after it, and you discover players, and it's got to be a concern to worry about losing them. And of course, from what I understand, the roster's big enough; he could probably afford to lose a few of them. It sounds like.
Well, I've heard mentioned that they may try to sign up to 20 plus players. If they do that, we're going to lose 20 plus players.
Right.
Just in order to stay under the cap of 105. But I think, the only thing I've heard transfer portal wise, I have heard that they are looking at a receiver out of Stanford and a defensive end out of Ole Miss. Those are the only two names I've heard thrown about as far as what they're kind of looking at the portal. They're keeping a lot of that hush hush, and I get it. I mean, you don't want people to know what you're doing, but it's going to be interesting to see how it all unfolds here in the next couple of weeks.
Well, we know you're going to keep a close eye on it for us.
So, I will.
So we can. We need to know something. We'll call you. So we know you stay engaged and watch all that closely. My head starts spinning. I can't remember my own name, much less 15 guys in the transfer portal. And
right.
I'll say to Frank a lot of times, now, who's this guest we're having again? He'll tell me, and then 15 minutes later, I'm asking him again. So when we get to that point, we'll definitely be calling you as the spring winds down and summertime gets here. Summertime you don't think about a lot going on, but when summertime hits, you're just a couple of months away from game time, and so a lot of stuff starts happening at that point. Frank?
It's 24/7, 365.
That's right. You guys got any questions for Mark before we move on?
Nothing but appreciation, Mark. We really appreciate everything you do, and we appreciate you, period. So thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me as part of the team. I enjoy every minute of it. And,
absolutely.
Brings back a lot of memories getting to connect with these guys again that I haven't seen in a long time, and it's my pleasure.
All right, Mark, we appreciate you so much. Stay safe down there in Murfreesboro, and we will talk to you soon.
All right, tell Boogie I said hi.
All right, we sure will.
Take care, Mark.
All righty.
All right, bye-bye, Mark. All right, Mark Parsons, he's an invaluable member here. Like I said, he does a lot to secure our guest list for us. He does a great job. And stays so in tune with what's going on up here. That's a full-time job, keeping track of all these transfers in and out and the roster and everything that's going on. And he knows. He's you'll see news from him first on Facebook or wherever he puts it on his pages. You see it from him first, and very well connected. So we appreciate Mark. And now, Frank, big news here. Mickey, if you wouldn't mind, we got a guy waiting in the wings here. We haven't seen this guy for quite some time, and he has flown in apparently, and we are excited and thrilled to have this guy back with us. I know, Frank, you're familiar with him, and of course, anybody that watched my show would be familiar with him, but as soon as he gets ready here, we thought we had him ready, but apparently not.
Yeah, he's got to get his uniform on. Yeah, he's got to get because you can't do it.
That's right.
Nobody will recognize him unless he's fully garbed.
That's it. And here he is, ladies and gentlemen, none other than Muggy McCloud, who has dropped in to join us. And Muggy, of course, with the old Courtside Show. I think he's going to become a traffic and weather guy for the new Mountaineer Locker Room Show. Muggy, welcome back. It's so good to see you again.
Good evening, Coach. It's good to be back. Well, good to be seen.
Well, good. How have you been, and what have you been up to?
Well, Coach, I've been still doing some of the same old things, not much of anything and a whole lot of nothing. But, mainly, as my Google's foggle up here. Mainly, I've been working still with, some veterans in recovery, which is always a good thing to be doing. And, if you're a veteran or an adult in recovery, you can reach us at Aspire Services Center, 20 Scott Avenue, Suite 402, Morgantown, West Virginia, 304-212-5223. And, of course, I have also, as you know, I've been laying a lot of pipe.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes, miles and miles of pipe I've been laying, and, some deeper than others and some more shallow. Been able to bore some pipe through some, some areas that aren't so, nice at times. But, once you get past the smell of some of the wildlife out there, it's not too bad.
And Frank, of course, he's talking, laying the pipe. He worked for the oil company.
Oh, yes, of course. What else?
That's right.
Yes, what else would I be talking about?
I could tell immediately the way he's dressed.
Yes,
that's oil people
That's
dress.
right.
That's
and
right.
Muggy, we, I guess laying all that pipe, you've lost a little weight, it looks like.
Yes, sir, Coach. I've lost, a little bit of weight, mainly because, typically, when you're on the radio, they say that adds 30 pounds to you. So, here live and in action, I'm probably a little lighter and, can you afford to eat anymore either?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Working out in the oil and gas fields, you eat a lot of monkey shanks and potted meat. And so, high protein and, low carb and feeling good about myself. Sitting in my buggy watching everybody else work real hard. It's pretty hard gig. But hey, good to be back. Good to fly in today on the NRN VOFTTFC, the Vatfa, and the knot. The Vatfa knot. Now and then.
Yeah. Now and then. Okay.
Yes,
gotcha.
sir. Yes, sir, Coach.
The voice of college football. That's right. Yeah.
And hopefully, the fuel prices are going up like gas prices, and flying in was pretty adventurous. We flew over the portal. The portal practice, trying to recognize some of the players, and Coach Rich was happy to see us, flying over. I guess he was waving at us with his "we're number one" symbol, and basically Misty showed her her high beams there on the helicopter, and he smiled and waved us on nicely. I guess he was afraid we were trying to steal some of his players into the portal, But I'm glad to see here today in Kegler's. Well, I was able to see until I fogged up. The Keglers have been very active in the portal because there are some.
You are fogged up.
I am. I told you my goggles were froggy, and but Keglers has been active in the portal because I see a lot of fullback thighs in here, and some tight ends and so forth. So good to be here. Good to be back.
Yeah, that's just the guys. So how was the traffic when you rode in?
Oh, traffic, Coach. Traffic. Horrible traffic. Backed up. I honestly, Coach, it was bad. I guess everybody's out today enjoying the spring football game, and but as I mentioned, we flew over all the traffic and flew over the football field. Coach Rich welcomed us, and then I was able to find one of the more prestigious spots for the helicopter, which was up there on top of the hospital. And, they kind of were chasing after me, waving. I guess they recognized me, Coach. And so I told them, give me 15, 20 minutes, I'd be back. And, they said, okay, we'll have you a police escort waiting for you when you get back.
Awesome.
Yeah,
well, I know you talk about people recognize you. I know when you come up to the stage, the crowd, they were enamored with you. I mean, lots of folks taking notice of Muggy showing up.
Yeah, well, Coach, as I looked around the room, I see a lot of former players that I probably went to college with when I was here studying meteorologically, and sleeping a lot on my couch and staying up late at night. Playing it was regular Nintendo back then. I was quite the Mario golfer back in my day, quite the athlete, but nothing like the guys that are in here. And I was happy to see that some of those gentlemen that I went to class with, they don't look any younger than I do. And maybe football and basketball is a little rougher on them than me sitting on my couch. But hey, life's been good, and it's good to be here, good to be back. A lot of, quite frankly, I am just honored and humbled to be here, looking like this in front of them today. As I used to idolize them, I'm sure now,
it's the other way around.
From the looks of them, I am now the one they look up to.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think I saw Major Harris look over at Daryl Prue and say, "Hey, we went to school with that
with Muggy." Yeah.
With Muggy, yeah. I think that was exactly what happened. I'm pretty sure.
Well, how about Misty Raines? Where's Misty at?
Misty's flying low. She's flying low there in Ohio. She didn't make the trip, so I had to pilot the helicopter by myself, and that's why my floggles are grooved, and I. Just had to leave her behind. She's just not. She's camera shy, Coach. She's camera shy.
She's a little camera
and
shy.
I ran off Coach Frank. I was going to tell him that. I didn't want to insult him, but I didn't want to call him Coach Fear because that would strike terror into the lives of many youth in the country already having those very animated appearances, coaches. They don't want to coach. They don't want to coach fear. Actually,
It's like having a doctor named Payne. Dr. Payne.
Dr. Payne. That's exactly right.
Had that discussion on the way down here.
Yes, sir.
Well, I tell you what, Muggy, it's awful good to see you again. We're so glad you're back in the fold, and we get Chapel 1 back up in the air for the Mountaineer locker room then and now. We look forward to having you on every Wednesday. So for all you fans out there of Muggy McCloud, make sure you tune in on Wednesday nights. Get the traffic weather update from Muggy himself.
That's right. So just going forward, Coach, real quickly, the weather this week, the rain's been falling like the stock market, and, but now the weather is going to get cold, like, the prices of cars and everything else.
Right.
And, basically, it's just going to continue to be crappy.
Yeah. Well, we might, with our Mountaineer locker room budget, much like the courtside with Coach Chris budget,
Yes.
We might have to get you some sort of non-motorized vehicle to drive around in because we really can't afford the fuel.
Right. Well,
just, you know how much we get paid for doing this.
maybe if you can just get me some defogger for my gargles.
Yeah, I think your goggles will need a little work. Might have to drill a little hole.
My gargles are going to need some work.
Make sure you take those off before you climb down out of here. You might get hurt.
Otherwise, no matter what, the weather is always going to be foggy.
That's right. It's
That's
going to be
right.
fogged up.
Yes, sir.
On your way out, if you don't mind, you tell Mickey Plumlee come on back up. We don't want him to get sad because he's not in here interviewed.
I don't know that I've ever seen Mickey sad. He seems happy all the time.
He's a happy guy. He is for sure. All right, Muggy. Appreciate you dropping in.
Okay.
Looking forward to having you back on the show. It's good to see you again.
All right, if anybody'd like any Muggy McCloud merch, just check out the website, and, I'll see if I can get Major to sign my booby over here.
There you go.
All right.
All right, Muggy McCloud, everybody, for all you fans out there. Boogie, I'm sure you showed up not expecting to see Muggy McCloud.
No, definitely.
And if for those of you who don't know, this guy sat beside me, Boogie Allen, former Mountaineer, and we're all tangled up here. Try to get some space here. We're all tangled up with the wires. But anyway, Boogie's kind enough to join us and come all the way up from Florida, right?
Yeah, definitely.
You want to give a little history of your playing time, playing days, and when you played, who'd you play for, and all that. People like to hear that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I played 06 to 2010 for Rich Rod, and I had the pleasure of Coach Bill Stewart was the last 2 years. I had Rich Rod for 2 years and then Bill Stewart for 2 years.
Was that a culture shock for you to go from Rich Rod to Bill Stewart? Kind of different personalities.
Yeah, way different. Way different.
Just a little bit.
Slightly different. You got to be excited. Rich Rod back in the fold. I know you guys have played for him. I've never heard, despite his flaws, I never heard anybody player-wise say anything bad about him. And I know that you guys are excited to have him back, I'm sure.
Definitely. No, he's a. You know what? But at the same, but it's good. I don't know how to explain it, but it's a good one. Yeah, you ain't never gonna hear nothing. Even after he left us for the before the Fiesta Bowl, we still don't got no bad words for Rich Rod.
Well, and Mickey, you can probably attest to this. When an opportunity arises, sometimes. No matter, where your heart is, if that opportunity pops up, you can't pass it up sometimes.
Sometimes that's true.
I never felt any animus toward him. I didn't really like the way it unfolded, but I don't know that it was all him.
I don't know that it was either, Greg.
More than him involved.
There's two sides to every story.
That's right.
And everybody knows the Rich Rod side, but not everybody knows what was going on the other side.
That's exactly right.
I've heard that he lobbied hard to get increased salaries for all his assistant coaches.
Right.
And after he had the offer in hand, he told the university he'd stay if he could get that budget approved. And apparently couldn't get it approved. So.
Yep, that's right. So, you never know.
You never know.
And it's just like with the basketball coach. I know a lot of people were very upset about that. Again, not the best way to go out, I don't think. But again, he's a Midwest guy, and Indiana's a historically great basketball program. Hard to say no to that, plus the money, so that always talks. Boogie, what are you up to these days? Tell everybody what you're doing and get you a plug in there.
I'm basically coaching high school football, training high school kids. I got a training business and lawn service at the same time, but pretty much pouring back into the youth.
Right.
Trying to help as many kids as I can get to college and experience what I experienced.
Absolutely. And you're from that area, correct?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. And I think the last time we talked to you, you did some name dropping on us there in your neighborhood. You had a few folks that lived close by to you that all former Mountaineer players or something. I remember you talking about all these different people that live within the 2 or 3 blocks of you.
Oh, yeah. Scooter Berry, Najee Good, Darren Brownlee.
There you go.
Gesley Derville, and there's one more. I can't even remember the other one, but yeah, it's like 5 that lives in Florida, and then you got West Lyons lives. He lives in Tampa though.
Okay.
Is there a particular age group you work with, Boogie?
No, really 6 to 18 range.
Okay.
That I train, but high school wise, I deal with middle school, JV, and varsity. So yeah.
You, I'm curious, Mickey. You talk about all these names down there, but the only one we've had on the show so far has been him. And I'm wondering where the disconnect is there that we haven't gotten a few of these guys on as guests that he's talked about.
We got a couple in here right now. We got a couple that we can bring up here right now.
Yeah, we'll get them up here. Any of them wants to come up, they're more than welcome. I'm going to get, before you go, I want to get a picture with you. And my wife, she's taking all the photos, so let me stand up here and let's get us a picture. It's kind of odd for me. Of course, I'm older than you guys are, but I was always a season ticket holder and come up and watched all you guys play. And I was telling my brother that it's so odd to be able to sit down and talk to you now. But back then, looked at you as godlike creatures. You saw these guys up here, great football players, and it's always fun to see what folks have accomplished after they left WVU and graduated. And you're doing great things down there with young folks and coaching. That's awesome. Did you always have aspirations of being a coach, or is it just something kind of fell in your lap?
No, I didn't. I definitely didn't. Then when I got to, I'd probably say in my college years, I was like, man, that's when it really hit me. I was like, that's something that I can do. You got a lot of people that coach, but then at the same time, it's a connection, especially in this new era.
Oh, yeah.
Dealing with the new era of kids, you got to be able to judge. You can coach hard, but you can't really coach hard. Right. That's what I'll say. You can't.
That was going to be my next question.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, and you've done it, for a little while now, how it's changed over the last several years. It's gotten tougher, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. My older brother is definitely he was my mentor. When I got done playing ball and I moved back to Florida, and he was kind of like, hey, you can't do this, you can't do that. And he's coached since probably like 2012 high school. He won like 5 state championships as an offensive coordinator. Wow. He told me this. I didn't believe him, but he told me I never said a curse word coaching. I was like, how? How do you do that? And my first year, I was like, I was too intense. And then
that's hard.
Yeah, I was intense. I was like, man, these kids just don't get it. But I learned, and over time, and now my curse words have gone away.
You know what? I'll tell you what, this is no lie. When I first started, I was a basketball coach for 28 years. When I first started coaching, I was coaching over at Mount Hope when I first became a head coach. And I remember telling my wife one night, of course, we played the heated rival Midland Trail, and I told her, I said, if I can't calm down and enjoy this, I'm quitting. I said, I'm going to kill myself. I can't do this. That was my first year as a head coach. After that, I got better at it. Was able to keep it in here more, but I told her, I said, I'm going to kill over, carrying on over on this, cussing and carrying on over here. But it's tough. It is. And I don't know that I quit coaching in 2012. I don't know that I could coach now. I really don't know that I could handle all the
different approaches.
The stuff that's going on now would be tough.
It is. Lord have mercy. It's different because coaching high school ball, it's like somebody's trying to bribe your kids, and if you have 2 or 3 players that like stand out in Jacksonville, it's huge. So if you have 2 or 3, it's like as soon as the off season hit, it's like they're on the market.
There they go.
So whatever they can pay or whatever, they're doing it. Yeah. And it's like really the main thing that we teach now with all this going on is loyalty. Yeah. And that's the main thing. It's like a lot of these kids and parents aren't loyal.
No.
And that's the main thing that we focus on with at a younger age with the middle school. We kind of try to teach them loyalty. You know what I'm saying? Luckily, over the last 2 years, we haven't lost any kids to it. So
that's got to be tough, man. I mean, you know, of course, I mean, we're talking olden days, but you know, I went to Midland Trail. I wouldn't have transferred to Fayetteville or Mount Hope for nothing.
Oh no, they were arch enemies.
I mean, it's your enemy, you know, and we were loyal to a T, and there is absolutely no loyalty now. It's all about what can I get, you know, what can I get, money wise, whatever they give them, and you know, I used to laugh because we played all the private schools. Of course, they were always good because they were able to recruit all their players, you know, and I always said, how am I going to get a good star basketball player's parents to move him to Hyco, West Virginia? Am I going to give him a job at the gas station? Or there was one gas station up there, and that's it. That's the only thing that was there. So, you know, yeah, kind of unfair, you know. But, well, anyway, Boogie, appreciate your great work, man.
Oh, no problem.
Appreciate you coming by and talking to us. Enjoyed it. Look forward to talking to you again. We'll go have you on the show again, for sure.
Thanks for going on.
All right,
man.
buddy. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
All right, Boogie Allen, folks. And old Mountaineer.
There you go.
He was a player. There's Muggy.
Do me a favor. Ask Daryl Prue what it was like to hang out with Tyrone Shaw.
All right. Okay. And now we've got another of our familiar faces rolling in here. It's our good friend, Mr. Daryl Prue. And DP, good to see you, my man.
What's up, fellas?
Appreciate you being here.
How y'all doing?
How you doing, Prue?
I'm good. How you
Good
doing?
to see you, man.
How you doing, Mickey?
I had an audience request when you got up here to ask you what it was like hanging out with Tyrone Shaw.
That was very interesting. It could be a fight. It could be a comedy show. Whatever mood he was in that day, it could have been anything.
Okay, Daryl's a bit of regular on our show on the Mountaineer Locker Room. He, especially during basketball season. Now we are happy and sad both for the fact that he became a head coach this past year. Kind of left us high and dry. Mickey went to greener pastures, and so we didn't get to have him on as much as we normally do. But Daryl, talk a little bit about what you're doing now, coaching wise.
I started coaching high school this year, St. Charles High School in Waldorf, Maryland. They were a very successful program before I got there. And this year we lost in a regional state finals on the last second shot. We came back, we battled back, we had the game and lost it just that fast. But we got a good group of guys coming back as well.
That's awesome. It's great to see you back in the coaching ranks again. I know you got a great history there with your coaching past, and it's exciting to see you back at it again. We were thrilled for you, and keeping an eye on you because greater things going to happen. Just got a feeling.
Yeah,
and,
I hope so.
Yeah, it'll happen. It'll happen.
I'd love to come back home.
Absolutely. I got you. I think a lot of people here would like to have you back as well. And speaking of that, of course, we just had another turnover here, basketball-wise, with the coach leaving, a new guy coming in. You know anything about the new guy?
Honestly, this guy I haven't heard anything about him. Don't know nothing about him. I watched a couple games in the NIT. Every way he's been, he's won. So he has a great track record. But it's kind of quiet because he was down in Texas, so I guess we didn't get much, stuff here about him. But, the guy had just left, did a good job when he was here. I heard some things about him, but, I think Ren did a good job of selecting the last guy. I think he did a good job of selecting the new guy.
You guys, I know you played for Coach Catlett, and there always seemed to be a little bit of a disconnect there between after time went on. Has that improved any, with the former players and that sort of thing coming back to WVU? I know football-wise, I think it's starting to shape up a little differently now. I don't know about basketball, the former players.
I think it was a big disconnect as far as especially with the Kegler area. If you look at the stuff that's in the practice facilities and stuff like that, there's nothing, it's like Kegler didn't exist. And, which is sad because, he did a great job. Bob Huggins did a great job. Beeline did a great job.
Mm-hmm.
And, but it's definitely a disconnect. Dale Wolfley was trying to mend some of those hurdles, but it just didn't happen.
Yeah.
And and it's sad because it's like I look at all the football stuff and the guys over there and the camaraderie they have and coming back. We don't have that as a basketball group, and some of it is the basketball guys.
Yeah.
So a lot of them guys, when they left, they never came back.
Right.
But there's a nucleus that do want to come back and support.
Well, I think and we'll talk to him about it. We've Mickey. I don't know if you know the guy's name. It's the new Mountaineer Athletic Club guy. I can't remember. Is it Johnson?
Kevin Johnson. Call him KJ.
Okay. We're supposed to have him on here in a week or two, I think, on the show. So definitely something we'll talk to him about. But it seems like that might be one of his goals. Is trying to pull these people back because so in my mind it's so important to your program. You've got to have your past, representation. You've got to have those folks back, and people see that. Young players see it.
Well, I had a conversation with him yesterday about some things, and he says he's doing a reunion again. I said, "What about the pictures on the wall in the Coliseum? There was no ceremony." So last year I came to the Kansas game. Coach Kegler was there, and in the Jumbotron, he has not seen his picture. So I walked him around. I walked him around the Coliseum so he could see it.
Wow.
And what kind of stage are we setting for somebody who did great things and got a name on the street in front of the building, and he has not seen his picture on the wall. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That he's in the building now. You know what I mean? So that bothered me right there because he didn't. He's come to games and he has never seen it.
Right.
And I knew it happened around COVID, but it's been a few years since then. It's just it's about 19 to 20 of us that's on that poster.
Yeah.
And on the wall, but like if you think about it, about 6 of them play for him.
Right.
Right. You go back to Lester Rowe, Darrell Blaney, Damian Owens.
Yep.
So it's a good group. So but. That's where I think some of the disconnects is there's no ceremonies,
right.
For us, like that. A reunion is nice, but, we would like to sit down and have, chop it up like the guys are chopping it up here. I know spring football is a little different, but I think small things like that has to improve for the support from, the basketball and getting the older basketball guys together.
Yeah, and I think, again, it's so important, I think, for the perception of your university, of your programs. When younger people see that.
You see the old ones coming back. You look around Kegler's here and you see a number of former football players. But Daryl, you see many former basketball players here today?
No.
Not very many at all, if any.
Not at all. I mean, I was at Georgetown recruiting. We were recruiting a player. He ended up going to North Carolina. And the father told me, asked me a question about. He asked me about a question. He asked somebody else a question, and the question was: when Allen Iverson was going through something, did a former player anybody call him? And it was not like a family. He's like North Carolina was a family. Every year is a family. And I think you see the football, there's a family. Those are like 3 different areas over there with each other. And I don't think, sometimes it's different coaches, but at the end of the day, it's still WVU. I think, we're a basketball fan. I walked up with a couple of guys at the game today, just messing around with them, but they don't know. I don't know who they are. They don't know who I am.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think, we, as Frank Fear says a lot, sometimes we don't like to remember history.
Right. Yeah, we try to forget it. Yeah. Wipe it out. Yeah. And I think it's so important for your program, to have these folks involved because, again, young players see that, recruits see it. You want to feel wanted and welcome, and I don't think it's the fans at all.
No,
I think the fans are tickled to death. I mean, for me, seeing you and seeing these guys, it's exciting for me, and makes me happy and excited to be a Mountaineer fan.
Oh.
These guys, I idolize them and watch them play ball, but when you, so it's not really the fan idea that they don't connect. It's something else going on, and it needs to be rectified. So hopefully we get him on. We get KJ on. We'll definitely talk to him about it. That'd be an interesting topic to hear his insights and what he has planned, for the future. And I tell you what, with the situation getting like it is now with the NIL, with money, finances and all that's going to be needed, they better pull everybody together because we're going to need everybody.
Every advantage you can get.
That's right.
And I think some of it was, it's the history between Coach Huggins and Coach Campbell. I think they had a little bit of history, not a good history. So that kind of, throw things in a off balance. But, and it shouldn't because it's not, I don't think either talks about each other, but, like, why put a barrier of what was happening before you got here? Because, when I first got here, no high-profile guys was coming.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but I think it's, everything is a good change. I think Kevin Johnson's coming in now for the alumni stuff. I think that's a good change, and just we got to be open to it.
Yeah. Well, and I think everybody needs to realize that they're not bigger than the program.
No.
The program's what's important.
West Virginia basketball and football will be here long after we're gone.
That's exactly right, and it needs to be a group effort, not like you said. Don't need any walls between anybody. We need those walls knocked down. So hopefully we can talk to KJ and get that
taken care of.
Put that bug in his ear. We'll be responsible for that, Mickey. Daryl, we appreciate you coming by, man. And you want to go ahead and promote there? Let's. I'm gonna hold this up here, Darren, so you can get a shot of this.
So Frank
Fear.
Fear.
Get Frank up here.
Yep.
I can't. If he thinks I can see that, he's crazy. I can't.
I can see it.
What did it say?
Jozwiak.
Ready.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're putting a book together. Frank Fear has helped me put the book together. He's an excellent writer. We got a few chapters in.
Awesome.
And we're putting it together, and hopefully by the beginning of next year we'll have it all done and out. I'm very excited about it because my navigation to West Virginia University is a little different from everybody else's, and I think it's a story about, as Frank says, is relationships and how relationships through the university has gained my trust and for me to come here because of a few people. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we're looking forward to that, and we'll definitely be promoting that on the air, no doubt.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do something that, not the most professional thing, but if you can spare this one, I would like to have a signed copy of that. That'd be great. I don't know if that pen works. I pulled it out from underneath the desk here. Yeah, appreciate that, man. Looking forward to that book. That's going to be exciting.
I'm very excited too because it's kind of hard to find somebody we've known each other for a couple of years now, but he does a great job of researching, getting in. He's talking to my elementary school friends. He's talking to friends, my neighbors. He's talking to a lot of different people, and he's getting information that I forgot about. You know what I mean? So that's a wonderful thing. Yeah,
he does that, and he's a great writer.
Yes.
The book on Mickey and these guys.
Yeah.
I've read that book twice. What a great book! And I told Frank one of the things that I took from reading that book was you could feel we talked about this, the camaraderie, the togetherness of those players, and still see it today. And Frank done a great job of weaving that in there together. So I know that book's going to be fantastic, and I can't wait to see it, man. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I'll get another signature on the book.
I got you.
Appreciate you, my man.
All right.
Daryl Prue, everybody.
Appreciate you.
Guys, remember him. I always tell Daryl, sweetest left-handed jumper you ever saw.
Still doing it. My 50 and overs. I'm going to retire, though.
I hear you, man. You look like you're about 30.
Tell the young ladies that.
Yeah. Oh, they know. They know.
All right.
All right, Daryl. All right, man. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Daryl Prue, everybody. Like I said, Mickey, what a player, man.
Well, more than just a player, too. I mean, he's a testament to how folks have gone on after they graduated from WVU, continued to make a commitment in their communities, in their upbringing, and the moral development of young kids, too. Yeah. Daryl continues to run basketball camps.
Yep.
And last night we had a book signing up at Barnes & Noble on Band of Brothers, and Frank also introduced the new book on Daryl. And it was a lady that came in, Greg, with her twin grandsons who had attended Prue's summer basketball camp last year. And, of course, she got a copy of the Band of Brothers book, but she was so complimentary of Daryl and the impact that he had had on their development. So we got another guy. Let's introduce this big guy.
Who is this guy coming in? Welcome. This is our good friend, Mr. Brian Jozwiak, coming in to join us. We had trouble finding him, and
I'll sit right here. This black one? Yes, sir.
of course, anybody that knows anything about Mountaineer football,
Yes, you do.
Man, Prue had it on his head.
we wiped it down with sanitizer. We sanitized it for you.
Hey, Joe, put that mouthpiece down. There you go.
He's talked loud enough. He won't
My
need
freaking
that.
God, yeah.
Of course, everybody remembers this guy.
Good to
Knows
see you,
anything
Brian.
about
Good to see you.
Mountaineer
My
football. Brian Jozwiak, All-American.
What's up, G?
What's happening, my man?
Oh, brother, hey, I'm glad to see you.
Well, I'm glad to be here. You don't know how glad.
Oh, hey, I know the whole story.
Ooh, it's a rough way to go there for a
But
while.
hey, you know what? Hey, we're here.
That's right. That's all that matters.
We're here.
That's all that matters. That's
So what are we talking about?
What do you want to talk about? Do you attend to what is this thing called today? It wasn't a spring game.
No. Hold on now. It wasn't a spring game, but I'll tell you what. They, they were billing it as a showcase.
Right,
And, what is that? But I know Rich. Rich is a competitor. They scrimmaged for most of the time.
Most of the time.
Okay.
All right, most of the time they're evaluating. They got to cut down to 105.
Yeah.
So they got to evaluate. They didn't have time to go out there and screw around with,
Right.
two-hand touch and 7-on-7 and all that stuff. I got to evaluate a guy. I got to know if he's going to rip or not. And that's what I saw today was an attitude change that, God almighty, man, I'm like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
It really is, man. It's exciting, and he's got some work to do now. I mean, he's put together a heck of a staff.
Yeah.
But when you watch the game itself and you see what's going on, he's got to clean up a little bit, and he's got to go out and find his guys that are going to buy in. But the attitude, the intensity, the fan interactions, there was so much. We had a bunch of guys today that this morning we got together at the stadium and got to go in, and we had a meal. They fed us and they put us in the training room area, and we're all together. And I got goosebumps, man. It felt so good because it was a big welcome mat for us, and we got to be on the field, and we got to be around it and see it, and man, let me tell you something. Rich, I'm so thankful that we put this thing together right and got him back. And all them naysayers out there, they can whatever. But at the end of the day, from a player's perspective, a fan perspective, an alumni perspective, I'm so excited about what is about to happen here in Morgantown. And it might take a year.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
But, hey, we go 2-0. We beat the crap out of Pitt at home.
Yep.
Man, this place will go nuts.
That's
Absolutely.
right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
A good chance we can start off that way, too. I tell you, I was impressed. I went over for about an hour today, Joe.
Okay.
You could tell the change in the tempo. People are just running. They're not walking from here to there, and they're switching number 2 defense against number 1 offense, and people are getting it. They were getting after it.
Movement.
Now, I got to say that, from an offensive line perspective, which I played on, we got a lot of work to do in that area.
We got work to do.
Because we lost every starter, and I think we only have 2 offensive linemen coming back that have any playing experience whatsoever.
Yeah.
So that's going to be something that's going to have to be totally
retooled.
retooled.
O-line, you don't learn overnight.
No.
And the working mechanism of 5 guys working together
As one.
That's and you know what? Hey, you brought in Jack McNeil Jr.
Yeah.
He's a damn good O-line coach.
Yeah.
All right, genetics, right?
Yep.
So you'll see the improvement. It'll happen, but again, we're gonna have to use the portal.
You got to get the talent.
We got to get the talent in here, and you know, the game's changed like that, so it is what it is. But you know, he's got to bring in some key pieces, and that'll be okay. And we'll do it. And he'll do it.
I'll tell you who impressed me on the defensive side of the ball today was Reed Carrico. Boy, that guy, he'll come up and smack you. I tell you, I was really impressed with him.
He will come up and smack you.
He will, and that's what you got to have.
But see, that's the cool part of what Rich brings. He brings, you know, we're hearing, you know, terms like hard edge and, you know, all that's, you know, it's about competition. I watched a press conference here about 2 weeks ago, and they were talking about his attitude on the field and what he's looking for and in practice. You know, I'm not going to lose this rep. One rep matters. Every rep matters.
Yeah.
So what you get is you get this attitude of, as a competitor, if I'm going to compete, and it does, and that's what, and you can see that, you can hear it in the voices of the coaches and the voices of the guys that they interview. You know, it's exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is.
Well, I know Frank and I talked one night on the show about it, and I said, you know, one of the things that I'm looking forward to, you know, back in your day when you played, and after that, when teams played WVU, we may not have won, but they knew they were in a ball game.
Oh, they were in a dogfight.
It was physical.
All right?
Physical.
You know what the goal was? Hey, great man, when you wake up the next morning, I want you to feel like you were in a car accident.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's and I'm gonna and we stand on the shoulders of those that came before us.
Yeah.
And there's a term, in quote, Mountaineer football.
Yeah.
What is Mountaineer football?
Yeah.
We haven't seen that.
There's Mountaineer football.
We kind of lost that edge.
What are you doing?
I came over here to see you.
You know.
Mr. Talley.
This is Daryl Talley.
Mr. Daryl Talley.
Is that who that is?
I came to see you because I'm ready to take off. I'm going to drive back to see my mom tonight.
Are you out?
Yeah.
Can we get you on for a few minutes?
Here.
We get you on for a few minutes, Daryl, before you take off?
Just talking. Just talking. The audience. There's an audience out there. Come on, man. Come on. Talk.
Oh, now I've been recruited.
He's recruited. Get him.
I don't know if anybody will know who this is. Hey, Lynn, how you doing, buddy? It's better. It's better.
What's up, Lynn? Down in the cheap seats. As they say, down in the cheap seats, so we got to sit down.
He's yelling.
No,
Have a seat, Daryl.
I want you to keep your seat.
Oh, you want me to sit?
I'm going to sit in the junior seat.
Don't you sit on my lap.
I'm in the junior seat.
Can you get him on the camera here?
I don't know if we
Hey,
can see him
Daryl,
or
thanks for
not.
coming over.
Yeah, stand up here.
I'll stand up here.
I'm going to have my wife get a picture here of it.
Wave at the camera.
Wave at the camera. How you doing? Oh, what are you guys talking about today? I'm sorry I interrupted your guy.
Talking about Mountaineer football, about having Rich Rod back, and what the future prognosis looks like. Let's get your opinion. What do you think about Rich Rod coming back and where we're headed?
First of all, I like to say I'm glad we got one of our own back in the house, and I think that, you know, the things that happened in the past happened in the past, and we have to move on and go on. Here's what I think. I think Rich is he's going to change the way we play the game right now.
Yeah.
He's going to get us back to, in my opinion, I think, don't want to speak for him, that he's going to get us more of a physical attack as to where we're going to run on the outside and throw the ball on the outside as well. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking for us to come up with some big dogs up front is what we need. We need some hungry guys. We need some guys that haven't been fed, and we need to get them fed.
Yeah.
So by doing that, we get a more physical brand of football. And with that also comes turnovers. Because if you play physical, you knock the ball out. The ball's on the ground. We have a chance to pick it up. This is what we need to be. We need to become a ball hungry defense, and an offense that don't turn it over.
I was just commenting about Reed Carrico's play today in the spring game, and that guy, I think he caused 1 or 2 turnovers personally today.
Yeah,
that guy's a hitter. He will come after you, and that's the kind of
what we got to have.
That's the image of Mountaineer football,
right?
Like when you play.
Yes, we got to have guys coming from all 3 levels. We got to have guys turning and running that are rushing the passer, turning and running back, retracing their steps, running back downhill at people. Amen. And when you take and actually look at the defensive backs playing, they got to go attack people. They cannot sit back and watch. We can't play catch. We got to get up in their face and challenge them. We have got to become an in-your-face type of defense. We got to be.
You've been saying that for 6 years.
That's right. That's what I believe. We've got to get up in your face and let you know that. Because if we don't get up in your face and mix it up with you, then how are you going to know how we're going to respond? You got to be disruptive. You got to get in it. You have to be physical. Look at anybody who's won. Yeah. We all have to be physical. Wide receivers have got to block downfield. That's an unheard of thing, but they got to do that because of the way the game is being played now. Defensive backs have got to come up and attack the ball. Attack the ball. Yeah. Not the man. Attack the ball. Yeah. If we start attacking the ball instead of the man, I think we can make a better shot. Because if you attack the ball, you're constantly trying to get it loose. You're trying to knock it out. And if you're trying to knock it out enough, eventually it's going to happen.
You get some of it. Yeah, sure will.
Dang, Mickey, I feel like I'm ready to play now, man.
You psyched up now?
No, I'm fired up, man. I can't wait.
See, you get 3 old players together, Greg. Watch out, buddy. Man. Your blood starts flowing.
Hey, it's just some things that you know that are going to happen when you play that game. And there's certain things that the switch has got to flip. And if the guy doesn't have a switch, then you better go buy one. Yes. You better go buy one, or guess what? Hit the road, Jack. Hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more. Hit the road, Jack.
Get the portal.
You know. I don't know too much about it. All I know is that the portal is where a lot of guys are coming from. But my question is it better to develop your own talent or go steal someone else?
Or get it from the portal.
Yeah.
Because you got to remember now, these guys are starting to look at it as a business now.
Yeah.
They're starting to go, okay, well, I can do this or I can do that. Yeah. So it's a little different take. Yeah. It's a take that, personally, I wish I'd have had when I was in school.
Absolutely.
The opportunity?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If I'd have had that type of opportunity, yeah. Because then once you get to the next level is nothing now. Because the next level is just stacking.
Yeah.
Because you learn it all here. It's just like they tell you learn your craft, hone your craft. Learn football. Learn how to play the game. Learn what it takes to be a good teammate. Learn what it takes to be a good player. Learn what it takes to be a professional. Those are some of the things that you got to learn. And once you learn them, now the object is turn around and teach them to someone.
Yeah.
Haven't you heard? You ain't the first guy over the fence, pull somebody else over?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think, what's exciting about all this is the fact that so far everybody's talking about the physicality. We're going to be a physical team. And I was saying before Daryl came up, back in your all's day, West Virginia was known as
a physical team.
We
were physical.
Yeah. That's what we were.
That was football. Physical.
We kind of seem to have gotten away from that the last 6, 7 years.
Well, it got to the point where, they're saying football is a contact sport. Football ain't a contact sport. Football is a collision sport. You're going to collide with people.
Basketball is a contact sport.
Yeah.
Football is a collision sport.
Yeah.
Difference.
Yeah, it's going to be refreshing. Refreshing to see.
I'll tell you what.
And my thing is this. If Rich really want me to come back and start getting somebody's ass on the ground, I'll come back and do that because I want him to be successful this time around.
That's right.
I believe that he can do that.
Yeah, I think everybody thinks that. I think everybody's excited about it. Just, we've talked about this several times too. When you get a person that is from here, he played here, he's a Mountaineer, and he's going to pour his heart and soul into it no matter what. And no matter what happened in the past or anything like that. He wants to be here, and I think that's refreshing based on what we've been going through in basketball and other things, it's nice to have somebody that wants to be here and wants the Mountaineers to be successful. I think everybody's looking forward to him being back.
He's one of us.
That's right. Yeah.
That's what I said. We got one of us in it. He said, hey, you know the song? Kendrick Lamar, Not Like Us. He's like us. He's like us.
That's right.
So that's the thing. He's one of us.
You got it. And that's what we need.
Let's put it this way. And he's been around a while, too. So he does know what he's doing.
He knows what he's doing. There ain't no question about that. Give him some time.
I know he's been around because he was a freshman when I was a senior.
Yeah.
Okay? So, yeah, I've gotten a little older. So is he. And he's gotten a lot smarter.
Both been around a while, huh?
Yeah, we both been around.
I can't say anything.
No, because you got his beat.
That's right. Thank you, Daryl. Appreciate you, man. Good to see you.
Hey, Daryl, thanks for coming on, buddy.
Hey, give your mom love. All right? Be safe.
Thank you, Daryl. Appreciate you.
Oh, man, I'll tell you, what a freaking one of the crown jewels of Mountaineer football right there.
Wow.
Daryl Talley, are you kidding me? He when I came in as a freshman, okay, Daryl took me under his wing. This is no kid, Greg. I swear. And this big kid from Baltimore, man, blah blah blah. He's like, hey, and he kind of like I say, he took me under his wing and he messed with me all the time. He had this white Porsche 911 with a big Playboy sign on the roof. I'll never forget this, man. He's like, hey, he's like, go out and wash my car, freshman. You know what I mean? Oh no, Daryl's a phenomenal player. And I want to get back on one thing. This is at this point in time in the landscape we're in, they have got to totally adopt the NFL model when it comes to players. And this is just my opinion. I'm just saying we need to be able to put guys on contract, not a one-year deal. It's got to be – I got to be able to recruit a kid out of high school and say, hey, man, just like the NFL, I could sign you to a 2, 3, 4-year deal, 5th-year option, whatever it is, but I got to be able to lock that kid up so that he can't just skip out, you know, and I get it. But – We there's got to be something as a program. I got to be able to say, man, this kid's worth the contract. Put him on a contract, and somehow they got to figure out how to put some sort of a cap on stuff. You know, when the NCAA did this, they let the genie out of the bottle. You ain't never going to shove it back in,
No.
but you got to come up with some regulation. You got to figure out how we can make it, you know, effective. But the biggest piece is, and this is just me, this transferring whenever I want, nah. I got to be, as an institution, as a program, as a university, whatever, I got to be able to put that kid under contract and say, hey, man, you're mine. And when that runs out, hey, if you want to jump in as a free agent, we call it in the NFL. Here we just call it the portal. If you want to go, then go or whatever. But you know, it's it's crazy, man. It's like the Wild West right now, man.
Yeah, and
I feel bad for these coaches.
Oh yeah, it'd be hard to coach.
It's hard.
And like you said, the contract thing. I've always said, you know, if you're going to give this guy $100,000 to play, he needs to say, I'm going to be there at least 2 years.
Well,
before I get my money.
Hey, let's just throw it on the table and talk about the DeVries guy.
Yeah.
You know, $1.1 million in NIL money. He plays 8 games and then leaves and transfers. Where's that money go?
That's right.
If I'm a business owner here locally and I go, wait a minute, what the heck just happened?
Yeah.
So, again, we're back to we got to be able to build a contract and say, hey, man, you're mine. And as a coach, I mean, these guys have to recruit their locker room every day.
Right.
But if I know that Joe Blow over here is on a 4-year contract, I ain't got to mess with him because he ain't going anywhere. And if he does, then there's going to be a payback to me. Right. Just like everybody says, well, what about the coaches? The coaches, they can get up and leave. Well, if they get up and leave, before their contract, then we get the buyout pay.
Buyout, that's right.
Okay, so there is a penalty.
Yep.
Okay?
Sure is.
There's not a penalty as a player.
Right.
And I'm an old guy. Believe me, I would love a little NIL money. All right? I mean, I got a free pizza every now and then. I can remember getting some snow tires one year. But at the end of the day, I go back to we got to be able to lock that guy down, and it's got to be a contract. Right now, it's a scholarships are 1 year renewable deals, so I can do whatever. Nah, we got to fix that.
Yeah,
we got to fix it.
I agree. Got us another guy up here to talk to, and see, Joe, as good as you are at this, I'll just let you interview him.
Who am I interviewing? You got to help me, man. Don't do that to me like this.
I'm sorry.
Come on, Greg.
What
me.
do you go by? Would you rather go by
D-Ray.
D-Ray?
Yeah, D-Ray.
D-Ray?
D-Ray.
But my name is Darius Renard. I was here during
Darius
Rich
Renard.
Were you here with Rich?
Yeah. From 04 to 08.
So freaking how excited are you right now? I apologize. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I was just messing with you.
Buddy,
I didn't really know either for
I got
sure.
that CTE stuff, man. I don't remember what I ate for
I was
breakfast.
going to say, the way mine works, I can't even remember my own name.
I see you smiling big.
Oh, yeah. That's one reason.
How great was today?
They got my guy back.
How
back,
great
man.
was today?
You can feel it in the atmosphere, dude.
Unbelievable.
You can feel it. I woke up this morning, seeing the people walking around 8 o'clock in the morning, getting ready with the tailgates. It's just the atmosphere, man. That's what Rich Rodriguez brings back to Morgantown. And that's something we've been needed a long time ago.
I mean, we always talk about Mountaineer football.
Mm-hmm.
What is Mountaineer football?
Mountaineer, just like I said, we don't have no NFL teams right here. We are that NFL team right here. We bleed blue and gold. And when I say we have some diehard fans, you have some diehard fans, and they've been missing for a lot of years. So glad to have them back. And like I said, it's just that feeling. We got that feeling back, and that's crazy that one person can make people feel like that. And I can't wait, dude. I'm excited.
Oh, that is exciting. I think everybody's excited about this. I'm more excited now, and I'm ready to play.
What I saw
I
today.
can't even walk, and I'm ready to play.
Oh, brother, let me tell you, there's such an attitude shift. It's like when he comes out and he goes, "Hey, man, you ain't gonna do no TikTok in my locker room.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, you can TikTok over there, but you ain't gonna do it in my locker room. Because I'll tell you what, man, when you're 320 pounds, you don't look good in tights.
Right.
All right, so you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's that attitude, it's that edge, it's that demeanor, it's the competition, and that's what Rich is. I was a teammate.
Yeah.
He and I came together in '81, right?
Okay.
So I was with him on the field as a player,
right.
And then watched him coach. I was coaching at West Virginia Wesleyan down in Buchanan when he was the head coach at Glenville.
Gotcha.
Okay? So I've watched his whole resume build.
Mm-hmm.
The man is a freaking competitor.
Yes, he is.
Hey, Frank, I'm going to let you
What do you
come
need,
back in
Frank?
here for a minute. Give me a break. He needs a break.
You need a break?
I need a break.
You need me to move? I need to get out of the way. You ain't going to get in there. You got to. Oh, all right. I'll move. Here, let me get out of the way. But I'm back to this, man, because this is exciting.
Yes, indeed.
It's that. I just watched an interview the other day, all right? Mm-hmm. And when you go back to your time with Rich, the competitive nature, the one rep.
Yes.
One rep.
That's all it takes.
One rep.
Yep.
Now, you either win that rep or you lose that rep.
Exactly.
But when you lose that rep, how do you feel?
Oh, you feel horrible. You feel horrible, man. And that's one thing Coach Riley always honed on back then when we played. I'm saying offense going against defense, we having fights and all that. That was bring us much closer towards the end, towards that main goal. Just having that competitive nature. Not trying to lose this rep, not trying to lose that rep. And at the end, towards the end, we come together and we did some big things towards the end.
Wait a minute, what you just said right there, that's what matters.
Yeah.
Is in practice,
yeah.
We're going against each other.
Mm-hmm.
All right, it's like brothers.
Right.
You put us down in the basement, hey, one's coming out,
yeah.
and the other one's coming out bruised.
Yeah.
Okay? So when you look at that and you say, hey man, I'm not going to lose this rep.
Exactly.
Okay? and we're going to battle.
Exactly.
And we're going to fight.
Yeah,
and we're going to, and I remember, man, grab a face mask, pull it, whatever. But when you get back in the locker room, hey, guess what?
Right.
We're brothers.
That's it.
We're warrior brothers.
That's the main goal.
And when you go out on Saturday or Friday or whenever you play that game,
I got your back.
I got your back. I know you got my back because we battled during the week.
Exactly.
I know that you're going to give me everything.
Exactly.
And I'm gonna give you everything.
Exactly, man.
God almighty, man.
That's been gone. That's been lost for a long time here,
bro.
It's been gone.
It's sad. It's sad because we're not going to be able to fix it.
Not right now.
It's going to take a year.
It's going to take a while.
It's going to take them a year at least.
Yeah.
But I mean, how do you feel about the staff?
I love the staff. They're going in the right direction, man. Just from watching the spring game, I'm looking like, God dang, we're some small guys. But when you go back to 05, when we came up our freshman year, we were small.
But then what?
And nobody knew about it. All of a sudden, a switch went on. You might not get it now, what Rich Rodriguez is doing, like with the TikTok. Tell everybody you can't use TikTok. You might not understand the reason why. It's all about distraction, getting all the distractions out the way, getting everybody focused. You start going through mini camps and all this stuff here. Once you get all the extractions out, you can see bits and pieces. And a lot of kids now, they don't understand that. You will, during the season or after the season or a couple years from now, oh, that's why we was doing that.
That's right.
He's got a plan, dude.
Oh.
Trust me, they just stick to the plan. He got a plan.
It's true. No, I can see it.
Yeah.
It like I said, man, I know Rich as well as anybody, man, and what he brings and how he brings and what he does, it permeates.
Exactly.
It permeates. And when you listen to the players now, last couple of years, whatever, I don't want to get into all that. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm done with mediocrity. I don't like media. I want Mountaineer football, man. Mountaineer football. And that's what this regime is going to bring to the table.
Exactly. You can tell. I'm at the spring game. I'm looking at all the ex-players that's here.
How about that?
That speaks volume.
Is that beautiful?
That speaks volume. Right
and that hasn't happened for a while.
In a long time. A long time.
I promise. Oh, God, I got goosebumps. No, it's special because again, you build on the shoulders of those that came before.
Right.
Okay, so we're all part of the experience.
Right, exactly.
But when we all get together, why did we all get together today like this? Why?
We are family.
We're family. But Rich is family.
Exactly.
He's one of us. He ain't some dude from Texas or Oklahoma or whatever. He's a West Virginia man. Exactly. He's us. Yeah. He's one of us.
Exactly.
Wow.
And we got your back, man. We got your back.
It's exciting, isn't it?
I can't. When I walk this down, I'm saying, man, look at all these players here.
It's cool.
Look at all these ex-players. Yeah. I never seen that.
Oh, Daryl Talley, Major Harris. I mean, 2 college football Hall of Famers.
Hall of Famers.
Why are they here?
Exactly.
Why are they here? Because they're here because of Rich.
Exactly.
And bringing him back and putting him in this position.
Yeah.
And, we can go back through the history and for whatever reasons why. The bottom line is the man had a vision. He wanted everything that is here right now. He wanted that, but we couldn't produce that at that time. And he went, you know what? Hey, I'm going to go, and do my thing. And here he is back 17 years later with everything that he wanted then now.
Yes, we had a conversation yesterday. He said
Tell me.
He said, man, I had to leave for us to get all this.
Yeah.
I had to leave.
But again, that leaving and that 17 years of doing his thing.
Yeah.
Here he is now, an older man, a wiser man, same competitive freaking craziness, but understands.
Exactly.
He gets it.
Exactly.
I mean, come on, man. When was the last time you saw a head football coach in the stands during the game letting some kid call a play?
Right.
How cool is that? What is that?
That's exciting, man.
He wouldn't have done that your time.
No, indeed.
But now he gets it.
Yeah. That's
There is one regret, though. Dale Wolfley's not here to see it and experience it.
Oh, God rest his soul.
This was what Dale was at.
Yeah.
He
was
wanted.
he was the voice of the football alum.
Amen.
And he wanted it so badly.
Amen, Frank. That's a fact, bro. And you know what? But he's looking down, smiling right now. I promise.
Yeah.
I promise. This is such a good thing for the brand.
Yes.
The organization, for the alum.
Yes.
But more importantly, for the state of West Virginia and Mountaineer fans, period, man. We need this because, I can remember old Coach Nealon, man. You know, hey, they're listening to you on a transistor radio down in a mine somewhere. You know, we're taking our pail to work.
Yep.
You know, we are a blue-collar, hard-working group of folk.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you said earlier about what do you have? You don't have pro teams.
Nope.
You don't have 5 colleges. I live in the state of Florida. Jeez, oh man. You got to pick who you want to follow.
Right.
Up here, you got us, Mountaineer football.
That's right. That's right.
That's it.
That's right.
Rich embraces that.
Yeah. I'm going to put this down. Given this conversation, I'm going to get a guy that'll blend in. Boom Boom's over there. I'm going to bring in Boom Boom Smalls.
All right. We're going to keep talking.
And it's just like
talk to me, baby.
Just like with the alum, that's good for recruitment wise. You got recruitment coming, and you see how the West Virginia program takes care of their alum.
Okay, so that being said, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
And again, we talked a minute about it, but how do you manage what's going on right now with the landscape of college football? Guys jumping ship.
I don't like it, man.
What do we got to do?
I don't like it. Back then, I
don't like it either.
Yeah.
But guess what? Here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are. So we got to manage it.
Yeah.
So what's the?
I like what you said. Putting them on the contract. If it ain't 2+ years on the contract, you ain't signing this contract. You're not getting no NIL.
That's right. That's right. If you don't, if I'm recruiting you out of high school, all right, and you're my guy, and I say, hey man, we're gonna put you on a
3-year,
3-4 year contract,
yes.
And you say, man, well then, hey, I'm going to the next guy.
Exactly.
Okay, so I think to me that's the thing that's got to happen.
A multi-year contract deal.
Multi-year contracts, because again, I mean, as an NIL, if I'm getting big money like that, and I go a year, and then all of a sudden I decide to go.
We'll go somewhere else.
What the heck, man? I'm this car dealer over here. I gave this guy a car for a year. I paid whatever, this much in, and all of a sudden he's gone. What do I get?
Right.
I get jammed up.
Yeah, right.
I get bummed out, man.
Right.
So the contract not only protects the university
Exactly.
and the coaching staff, but it also protects the business influence that's in that community that's supporting the program.
Right. That's why, man, they need to fix that.
Yeah, fast. I agree. It's coming. It has to.
Yo, one transfer out of it. Just one.
That's it.
Amen.
That's it. That's all you
get one transfer, and then limit it, and that's it.
Yeah.
You'll cool that down.
Yeah. Stop that, man.
Stop
It's
man.
It's bad.
You know who this is?
No.
You ready for this?
Yeah, what you got?
This is Freddie Boom Smalls.
Freddie Boom Smalls.
All right, Fred Smalls and I, we were captains together in 1985.
Come on.
All right, we came. Oh, let me tell you
So
something.
he played with Coach Rod played with y'all. What you got?
Yeah. Rod came in.
He was in our huddle.
We were in our huddle. Well, he was in his huddle. I was an offensive lineman.
I was a Rod Rich.
Oh.
I was a Rod Rich.
Hey, like again, I say, competitor.
Yeah.
Oh my God, a competitor. But Boom and I, man, right? Oh, some battles. hey. But again, that's the smile I see right there.
Yeah.
Right? It's just like the teammates. That's the one thing. And I just say this, man. I'm concerned about these guys today that they're not going to get this. It's different because everybody's this and that and this and that, and everybody's working, chasing the money and all this doing stuff. When you think about the locker rooms that we got to play and be part of, the camaraderie, the brotherhood. Come on, man. We're 60-something years old here.
Come on,
and
man.
love each other right now as much as we loved each other back then, man. It's just crazy, man. Am I right, Boo? Huh?
And that love, that bond, man. You know, that relationship. And the closeness. Because when you get older, you get lonely, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of things depart from you when you get older.
Right.
Your kids get older and they move on their own way of life.
Right. Preach it up, Boo.
You know, your wife, she becomes in her own ways of life, and you become you. So that's why they say dog is man's best friend.
Yes, sir.
Who become your best friend when you're older?
Yeah.
Your dog.
Your dog. That's right.
So right now, when you see brothers, you see your players, it's like, yo, what up, man?
That's
What's
how
up?
it is. Best all love.
Yeah,
man.
you know
Yeah.
that love kicks in again, man.
Right.
Get a picture of my wife.
Watch your butt.
Hey, no puffy here, baby.
Hey, that's my
No
hand.
puffy party here.
That's my hand.
I'm in blue. I'm not in white. I got blue and gold on. Ain't no white party here, man.
But yeah, like I was telling him, man, to see all the ex-players all along here, man, it's exciting, dude. I haven't seen anything like this in a long time.
I mean, the main thing you see, if you really look at it and you observe, look at the foundations of guys are here.
Yeah.
It's normally we the most ones that be here.
Right.
Like 84, 85, 86, 88. You see that core mostly here.
Right. What you
You know what I'm
do?
saying? Because I look for the next, I'm looking for Mike Logan. I'm looking for Aaron Beasley because I was a GA with them.
Yeah.
I'm looking for Mark Bolger.
Yep.
I'm looking, where y'all at?
Yeah.
Where's y'all group at?
Yeah.
I don't see anybody from that group here, you know what I'm saying? So you see that gap,
It's going to happen, though.
but it's got to happen.
Yeah, it will.
Hey, and I'll tell you why, too, man. KJ Johnson just got named the director of the Varsity Club, okay? Hey, Wolf was in that role. We were talking about Wolf. God rest his soul. But, he was in that role. And then for a number of years, there wasn't anybody in that role.
Right.
Okay,
right,
so the band of brothers didn't have any kind of leadership, didn't have any kind of coordination. And unfortunately, the last regime really didn't care much, I think, about the the older guys. It doesn't matter. And that's not Mountaineer football. So by putting KJ into that role, you look at what happened today up there this morning. All the fellas, man, in there just hanging out and on the sideline down there in the end zone before the game, yeah, okay, I get it. There's a practice going on over here. But it was pods of guys, man, smiling, loving, hugging, dapping, all that stuff, man. And that's exciting.
Yep.
And this new leadership in that role is going to be extremely beneficial. Yep. And I think in the next couple of years, you're going to see some really special things. And a lot of it has to do, again, winning matters.
Yeah, it does.
We start winning a little bit, all right? We go 2-0, and we beat the crap out of Pitt up here at home.
That's a must.
This state will light up,
Yes,
man.
indeed.
It's going to be crazy.
It won't take long.
I agree.
We on the uprise right now. You can tell, dude. Just from where we at right now, you can tell.
You
can
can tell
feel it.
the vibration.
Yes.
The vibration is different.
It is.
You see what I'm saying? It's got different vibrations.
Yeah. Why is that, Boone?
Because vibrations begins when people start to get exactly what they think is going to work.
Yeah.
Oh, we believe
That's it.
along this
There
is
it
going
is.
to work.
Yeah.
So
Buy-in.
now
Believe.
we got what we think going to work.
Yeah.
So now the vibration is good. The synergy, the energy is good, and we all come into a place like, yo, okay, we can live and die with this decision because this is what we wanted.
Mm-hmm.
We're on the same frequency.
One thing I know for sure that the difference that I saw today is I know this coach that they got. I can't call wins, I can't call losses, but I know this guy they got. They're gonna smash Mount.
Indeed.
That's right.
They're gonna smack somebody.
Give him time.
They're
Once
gonna
we get
they're gonna
together-
smack somebody. I like what Nealon would say. Nealon was like, he told me that Coach Bucknell from Boston College called him and said that they can't play after they play us because they physically or hurt.
Yeah.
We smack them so hard they can't. It takes them 3 to 4 days to get.
That's that car accident, man.
To get going again.
That different breed,
he said, Don, what do you do with these dudes? We hurt after we play y'all.
Yeah. That's right. That's right.
You might win, but guess what? You got to win, but you go, hey, man, good game, man.
Hey, like I said, you walking over, but you going to limp back.
Yeah, you walking over. You might say, good game, boom. We got to win, but guess what? Yeah. All right, man, I'll see you later.
That's it right there, man. I swear. That's
right.
and you know, that's rich. I mean, because he that's what he grew up in. That's what he knows. That's what he is, man. Oh God.
When I saw him yesterday, I tried to hide. I didn't want to really crowd him, and he called me out.
Sure he did.
Boom, boom.
Of course he did.
Come on. Felt the vibration of the hug.
Yeah.
And the first thing he said, and this is what he said. I'm not even going to paraphrase it. He said, he just went, boom, boom. They not like you, and they not like me. He said, when we came here, we had nothing. They got everything. And that's what I got to get them to realize, how to play like they got nothing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Whoa, that's deep.
Oh, that's deep.
That's deep. I got to get them to play like they got nothing.
This was yesterday when I walked the facility for the first time in years. And I'm looking at all the stuff that they have inside that stadium, in that building. I'm like, they have everything here.
They got a barber shop.
That's what surprised me. I walked around the corner. I said, they got a damn barber shop.
Hey, wait. They got, I want to take a nap. I can go take a nap in a sleep pod.
Sleep pod.
What is that?
I was like, come on. Y'all have everything.
So you know what? I'll tell you what. Boom. What you just said right there, man, just absolutely resonates with me, because you can't understand what it is until you gotta live through the struggle, man. You can't just get it handed to you like this and go, because you're not going to bleed for that. I'm going to bleed when I'm desperate. I'm going to bleed hard, man, when I got to struggle, man. I got to get through it, and I got to fight. I got to fight, because that 4 quarters, when I get to the end of that game, I got to be able to battle as hard on the last play of that game as I did on the first play of that game. Right. Because the struggle, that 4-quarter struggle, is just like what you're talking about. It's life. It's anything. Mm-hmm. And if I don't experience that hardship, that toughness, that grit, that bad foul taste, then I'm never gonna really truly appreciate the rewards of the victory.
Benefits. Exactly. You know, I was here All-American, and Joe's was a consistent All-American, and I was All-American here, and I didn't have a car. You know, I got to practice.
Wait, you didn't have a what?
So I got to the class. No, I didn't.
Wait.
I hitchhiked from Towers.
Car? Are you kidding me, man?
I get in the car and say, ain't you Boom Boom Smalls?
Hey, Boom,
what
man.
you doing hitchhiking?
All right.
Ain't had nothing.
I swear, today, we're standing up there on top. We're looking down at the parking lot. Now, when we played, all right, if you even had a car, it was a beater, man.
Yeah.
It was a rag. It was a beater. You look down there now, man, it looks like a freaking car lot.
Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, there's Rovers, there's all. I mean, what the heck, man?
Come on.
Again, we're back to, and this is big, man. I appreciate what you just said about what Rich said to you. I gotta teach these guys how to be desperate.
Yeah.
That's good word.
You got all this. You got wonderful stuff. I mean, they got a excuse me. They got sleep pods. They got a barber shop. They got a place you could do a rap.
They have it all.
Studio. What?
I seen that. Like, come on, man.
Okay.
You
All
get,
right,
you get a record deal.
You know what?
You don't need Puff Daddy while you're here.
You can do his.
You sign a deal while you're here.
You get best of both worlds.
Yeah, you want to rap or you want to play?
Yeah.
But we need you here.
Well, that's what Rich said. But that's what Rich said.
Yeah.
You want to TikTok or you want to play?
Yeah.
You TikTok in your dorm room. But in the locker room, it's business, man. It's business. We ain't playing.
No, indeed. So I was here from 04 to 08.
Yeah.
I had a daughter my freshman year in college. So once I moved out of the dorm rooms, I'm looking for a place. My scholarship checks were $700. My rent was $695.
Right on. I've been there, man.
So you talking about
So
hungry?
how much you had after your check? But $10?
If that.
Wait. By $10?
If that.
At least.
Come on, man.
Well, you can't
Talk about hungry.
Well, you can't.
Talk about hungry.
He can't even get quarter. He can't get quarter nights at Back Daddy.
Have you ever eaten? Have you ever eaten that macaroni and cheese stuff? All right, and you got nothing to mix it with. You got hard macaroni and powder, and you put a couple noodles in your mouth and soften them up. Dump some powder in there. Huh? That's desperate.
Man, we had that.
That's desperate.
Me, my girlfriend, and my daughter. You talking about hungry?
But
they had a lot of players on that team that was like that, and you can tell when
Wait a
they
minute,
were
you had a family.
I had a
you're
family.
working.
Yes.
Oh my
My
God!
family was here.
Oh, bless your heart.
But they had like 5 or 10 guys who was going through the same thing, showing how hungry they were.
Wow.
Coming from nothing.
Yeah.
So we have to make a way.
So your focus was not much on yourself.
No, indeed, Lord.
You had to go feed some mouths.
Yes, indeed.
So really, you was like number 3.
Exactly. I'll put me on the backbone.
On the backbone.
Yeah. I got
and
to do
then
this.
got to come in with this mindset.
Yes,
I got to
sir.
get this done.
And Coach Rod knew that. Coach Rod took care of me. Coach Rod made sure I was doing the right thing. Make sure I was going to class. Make sure I was getting the education. Make sure I was taking football serious.
Right,
Yeah.
Because you're playing for something now. You ain't just playing for West Virginia. You're really playing for something. You're playing for that seed right there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man.
That's
That's
beautiful.
what they missed right now. They wasn't getting that.
That's right.
He thought about the players first. Forget football. I'm thinking about the player first. Taking care of the player, then football will come after that. And that's one thing I love about
fatherhood.
Yes,
Fatherhood,
indeed.
you know.
Football's the vehicle.
Yes, indeed.
Football's the vehicle. This is the way. But everything that goes into it, what you guys are, I mean, that's just, that's what you take with you for the rest of your life.
Uh-huh.
And you what you apply to the game, if I apply the same energy and the same intensity and the same will and the same determination in my relationships, in my job, in my choices that I make in life, man, you got something special.
Yeah.
And that's what that's what Rich does, man. That's what he is.
You got to, these words seem like they old fabs, accountability, responsibility. I remember I told the story last year when I got kicked off the team. And Coach Leland brought me in the office and said, "Hey, you got to pack your bags and you got to go." All right, I mean, Coach wasn't wrong. I brought that on myself.
Right.
I'm out drinking and doing things. And
But finish the story though.
So
please.
I did something that I own up to, and he brought me in. He said, "Look, Freddie, listen, man. I got 80 guys on this team. I got parents and people to worry about. I got media. I got a higher responsibility. You not respecting what I got to do.
Yeah.
So therefore, you can pack your bags and get out of Morgantown."
Wow.
So I said, finally, I met somebody who did this to me.
Yeah, but wait a minute. What'd you say to him?
That's where I'm going.
If I leave,
that's where I'm going at right now.
Please go.
I said, Coach,
this will give you chills.
I finally met somebody who met me, looked at me, brought the father man to me, brought the whip, the rod, and I said, Coach, hold up, man. Can I say something? You know my lifestyle. If I go back to Philly, and I was crying. I'm talking, but I was crying when I said it. If I go back to Philly, Coach, on either 3 things gonna happen. I'm gonna kill somebody gonna kill me, I'm gonna end up in prison. And you know that. Because I was that gangster kid came here.
Oh, you were a cornerbanger.
Cornerback.
Yeah.
And he said, he paused for a minute, sat back, said, well, what we gonna do about it? I got it. This is how we gonna do this thing. This is how we gonna handle this, Freddie. Boom, boom. We don't do it boom, boom, way no more.
Yeah.
We do it the Don Neyland way, and if we don't, you can pack and go.
Ooh, man.
Now, I want you to write down,
Yeah.
I want agreement, I want a contract from your word. You from the streets,
Yeah.
boom. You know the laws. Your word is bond. Write it down, sign it, and we got a deal, right?
Right.
Bam.
There it is.
Changed my whole life.
Come on.
Change your life.
Changed my life.
Love you guys, man.
All right.
That was fun.
Shift change. Freddie, anybody know who this guy is? We need to. I got.
This dude, can I tell you a story about this dude?
You
man?
tell me a story.
You see how humble he is? When he's in 10th grade, he's cocky.
Oh, no.
I met Major Man. I met Major. No good things. A competitive athlete is like that.
Yeah.
Major, we in the back of towers. I'm going to my senior year. We had football camp. See this kid come out from the cafeteria, right? Kid put together, man. And he goes, anybody out here can challenge me in a dunk contest?
Yeah, I've heard that.
Oh, this dude. We seniors. This some 10th grader. Make a long story short. Y'all remember Holman Harley?
Mm-hmm.
Remember Holman Harley?
Yep.
He goes against Holman Harley and gained our respect. So when I knew when they told me that we have this kid, I remember the athleticism that I saw on this kid when he was in the 10th grade. I remember the athleticism, and I wasn't shocked. But David Grant called me. Said, you got to come see this freshman kid we got. I wasn't shocked because I saw his athleticism 2 years ago. And Major was an athletic specimen.
Major Harris, everybody, in case you didn't know. Hey, you mentioned being a freshman. When he was a freshman, I think played Ohio State. And, of course, I went to all the games. So I was at Ohio State and watched the game. Had a few fumbles and mishaps that game. I had a principal at the school I was teaching at. He was always riding me about the Mountaineers. Oh, you're a big Mountaineer fan. Y'all no good. I said, let me tell you something. We got a quarterback right now. We're going somewhere. Oh, get out of here. Get out of here. That's when you were a freshman. Anyway, Mage, it's great to have you. I appreciate you stopping by. I do want to ask you one question, though. Did you change your phone number, or you just ghosted me all the time?
No. You know what? I still got the same number. I didn't have the same
so he
number
just
for years.
ghosted me, I guess.
No.
He got his jersey retired. I said, congratulations,
It just went private.
Yeah, never heard a word, man. I'm like, oh, man.
It just went private.
I don't know if you remember, I had you on a show, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, a radio show, and I don't know how we got connected or anything like that, but I asked you the question about the last play in the great to see you, man. Appreciate you. The last play in the Sun Bowl when we went for 2 and you didn't get it. And I told you we should have just called Major, go get 2 points for us. And you said, no, Coach called a good play. I was like, all right, I'm trying to accept that.
Yeah, you know what? I kind of screwed that play up. We had a guy came in motion. He was really open in the flat, as soon as he crossed the goal line. And I wasn't disciplined enough at the time or focused enough just to, getting the ball, because it's like a 50-50 throw. I wanted to probably make a throw where, more 75-25 type of throw.
Right.
But really, I should have took that.
I got you. Frank, I just can't get over it. I was telling Major, I had him on my radio show several years ago. I went down to the Sun Bowl down in El Paso, Texas. And I don't guess she was a sophomore that year, maybe. Freshman, sophomore. And we went down and scored. We had time for one play, went for 2 for the win. We were down 1, and we threw an incomplete pass. And I told Major I still haven't gotten over that because I've always said, if we needed 5 yards, as fans, we knew we were going to get 5 yards because he was going to get it one way or the other. And I kept saying, I can't believe we didn't just get in the huddle and say, Major, go get your 2-point conversion. But he swears it was a good play, and he screwed it up. I still can't. I just can't get over it yet, though. It's only been 40 years ago. But so, Mage, what you up to these days?
Oh, just really hanging out. Getting older now, so it's like, man, you get to a certain age, like, damn, what I'm going to do next. So it's golfing is my thing.
I hear you.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's awesome. You did you attend the spring events today?
Oh, yeah. I loved it. You know what I mean? Having Coach Rod back, I think, to me, that was huge because now, you hear a lot of the former players talking about, man, it felt like a family reunion.
That's right.
We've
coming
heard
back.
that.
We've
heard that today.
Yeah.
Numerous times.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
I mean, you could just, like guys calling each other. Before, not knocking coaches in the past,
right.
But before it was guys was like, well, I don't know if I should go back now. Everybody talking about coming back.
Right.
I hate to interrupt you, but he wants to talk to his barber, his former barber.
What's going on? Yeah. Now, going back. Going back what Fred said about the dunk on, he kind of exaggerated a little bit. I came out there and Holman, I know a little bit about, Holman, when he played on basketball. He was a hell of a player.
Yeah.
So Holman was out there really dunking, then I tried to make a dunk. But Holman, he basically put me in my place. He jumped, tapped it off his staff twice and dunked it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So Holman really, showed me, what a big-time college basketball player can really do on the court.
He's awful humble, Frank. My brother was telling me a couple of months ago we were talking and ended up talking about Major, and he was telling me about going down to the rec center. And he said, there's Major Harris, best football player in the country, comes in there and he's dunking on people. Yeah. He was bragging him up too. So he's been a little too humble for us. Well, I know everybody's excited about Rich Rod coming back. I think it seems like the whole mindset has changed instantly, and I think former players are excited about it, and fans are excited about it. I know we are, and I think it's just you can just sense a different feeling about the whole program, And again, not knocking anybody else, no other coaches, but there's something to be said, I think, for a former Mountaineer being the coach.
One thing too about it. You think about it. We had an undefeated season under Coach Rod, so settle for 8-4, 8-3. He'd had a taste of undefeated season, so you know what I mean. So we're gonna strive to be the best, and that's what I like about it.
Yeah. No, you can feel it. You just can feel it. I mean, we all supported Neil Brown, but the fact of the matter is that if you're gonna play, I mean, I was telling Joe's, the one regret is that Dale Wolfley's not here to experience it, because that's what Dale was preaching over and over again, and so to actually see it, it's a rebirth of what Mountaineer football means, and that's important to everybody, obviously, including former players. You guys see Boom Boom here. When you watch films of Boom Boom, you knew you were hit when Boom Boom Smalls hit you, and with what you did and the teams that followed, Pat White and that Steve Slayton, and that's what people are. That's Mountaineer football. That's what they have in their head.
Yeah, definitely. Great. The good thing about it is, now, like when you come back, some of the kids now, they wasn't even born like when we played.
All right.
So now, when you come back and you can, on staff, you got Pat. You know what I mean? I think that was huge. You know what I mean? Because that's Mountaineer blood. You know what I mean? And I always preached for years. I said, you almost need one of your own to really coach a program that basically understand, Mountaineers, what it is to be a Mountaineer. I understand you got to hire, you bring people in and interview them and stuff like that. But it's not like one of your own, I'll be honest with you. You know what I mean? Because half of the guys probably brought in don't even know the fight song. You know what I mean? So, so I love it. I love what's going on.
Yeah, I do too. And I think Rich gets it. I think he gets it, like you said, because he's one of you guys, and he's a Mountaineer, and he knows what's going on. And like hiring Pat, I mean, Pat has a lot of coaching experience already, even though he's a young guy. But he played under Rich, so he knows. Rich knows that he knows. And again, being Mountaineer blood, I think that makes the whole difference in the world. And like Frank said, you can feel the difference in just the whole air of things. It's just exciting. It's exciting stuff. Major, appreciate you stopping by, man.
Oh, man.
It's good to see you.
Definitely.
And answer the phone when I say, all right.
I gotta see the number. You might get the wrong number. So.
It's the same number I talked to you on. Now, of course, that's been 4 or 5 years ago. So if it's not the same, we'll get it fixed. Yeah, I was accusing you today of that. I told Frank, I said, he ghosted me, man. He don't want to talk to me.
You know what, to be honest, like I said, I'm not real good with texts and stuff like that. I'd rather for a person to call me.
I got you. Let me make sure I got the right.
Yeah, that's my number. Yeah.
All right, you started answering the damn phone.
Yeah. What did you call me?
I don't know. I know when you retired your jersey,
Okay.
I sent you a congratulatory note.
Okay.
Never heard from you, and I was like, well.
I probably got it in my phone if you know what I mean.
Just right. Just kidding.
Yeah, it's all good though.
Yeah, but I will. We'll get you on. We're doing this show now. We call it the Mountaineer Locker Room Then and Now.
Okay.
So we try to interview older guys that played before, and then get some younger people in there as well. So we'll be calling you up, man. It's great to see you. You look great, man. Look like you can still play.
Yeah, I might be a center now.
You know, it's funny you mentioned the young kids there. We had Darius Renaud on, and I had Freddie Smalls and Brian Jozwiak. He didn't know either one of them, and I said both those guys were All-Americans. He went, All-Americans. I was telling him, he was talking about the young guys not knowing players. We had Jozwiak and Freddie Smalls. I told Darius Renard, I said, you know these guys? He kind of shook his head, and I said, wow. I said, both All-Americans. He went,
yeah, but that's typical of fans these days. They know what they lived through, experience.
Right, yeah.
But as Joe's always said, we're on the shoulder of others.
That's right. Well, Mage, we appreciate you more than you know, man. And Mountaineer history right here for sure.
Thanks for
one of the best.
Thank you.
The best. The best. Good to see you, man. Take care.
Pass this down.
Yep.
Thanks, Mage.
How you doing? Good to see you. Frank, I'll let you jump in here. Let me step out for just a second.
Okay, sure. Let you take over. Sure, let's get this out. Right. I think he's still got he was in the men's room. Oh boy. We're making this is like that Senate speech. Kevin Johnston was just named the director of the Varsity Club, which is the primary connector between the university and athletic alums, not just football. And to see so many of the former players come back, Kevin, just must warm your heart, I'll tell you.
You know, it's pretty neat. So many decades and eras as well. You know, you go back as far as like Jozwiak and Talley and Adrian Morrell, Avon Coburn, Freddie Smalls, you know, the guys that you've had on here already, Leroy Axel, Mike Booth. I mean, some guys that major. I mean, Lance Frazier, Darius Renaud. I mean, we have such a rich history, you know, especially football history, that it is so neat to see all these guys just hang out with each other and, you know, feels like a true brotherhood again. It was cool to watch those guys get together. So we had some last night. We had a suite at the baseball game last night, so we were able to entertain some of them at the game last night, and that was really cool, especially getting a win. So that was nice. And then this morning we had like 80 guys show up with their families at the Puskar Center, and we had a good brunch for them today, and they just got to fellowship with each other and kind of relive a lot of things. It was cool to see the guys that hadn't seen each other in such a long time. And it's a really good, for me, it's a very fulfilling first event. You know, I mean, it was really cool to see the work come together.
Yeah. You know, it's we like to use the phrase once a Mountaineer, always a Mountaineer.
Absolutely.
And that I think a lot of us think that's an assumption. but it's too important to assume. It has to be worked at. It has to be believed. It has to be felt. And one of the things I mentioned to you on the show the other night, what we've heard from football alums, because that's what we focus on, over and over again, is that they wanted to feel more part of that family. They wanted to live that, once a Mountaineer, always a Mountaineer. Yeah. And it's not just a West Virginia thing. I mean, it's you find that at other places, and I think what's great, and with your selection, the university recognizes how important it is to work at it and to make those connections real and meaningful. And it's not something that any institution can dictate.
Yeah.
And they can't just say it. It has to be the actions they take. And then what you said today, people are already coming back.
Yeah.
And I think that's great.
Yeah, I think, one, I have a passion for it. I grew up, I worked here, I worked with basketball for years. So working in the athletic department, understanding the culture that we have and the history that we have. I was close to some of the football players that played in my era in school. Like I knew Major and Mike Booth and some of those guys had classes together. But like I said, it's really my job to make that connection with all the eras and the decades and putting that all together and kind of wedging it together. It's so funny, I don't know if you saw, but former quarterback Chad Johnston just walked in the back. So another Johnston. There aren't too many of us. There aren't too many of us with the T. So he was generous enough when I was playing, or when he was playing here, I got one of his old game jerseys. So my girls have worn it to games for years. So, but very cool. But yeah, it's really neat to watch this. It's pretty cool. It was fun to sit back and watch them this morning.
Yeah.
And get together and enjoy each other. It was awesome.
That's
awesome.
Right. I don't know if you know Mickey Plumlee. Maybe you do. Maybe you don't.
How you doing, sir? Mickey
was on the
Kevin
69.
Johnston, pleasure to meet you.
Oh, sure, Kevin. How you doing?
Great. And so Mickey's knows how important your job is as the new director of the Varsity Club. We're on a text stream of the players back in the late 60s and very early 70s.
Yeah.
And this is something they've been asking for, Mick. So your thoughts about having someone of Kevin's caliber in that role?
It's great to have you at the helm running this thing, Kevin. I tell you, program's been struggling a little bit the last couple of 3 years, ever since we lost Dale Wolfley.
Yeah.
The administration had, I guess, a student in training kind of running the thing, as you probably know already. But prior to that, our group particularly, and I've sent you an email. You and I've communicated by email.
Yep.
You've got that list, I hope, of our players from our 66 through 69 Peach Bowl team, which
correct.
We're very proud of. We had the second best record in WVU history. We went 10-1 back in 1969.
Yeah.
And we still have a lot of guys that come up and support the program. So we're very excited about having you in this position.
I appreciate it. I'm passionate about it. I grew up a West Virginia fan. As a matter of fact, I did my social studies project on the history of West Virginia basketball.
Oh, really?
So grew up in Pine Grove, West Virginia, about an hour west of here, and then was fortunate enough to be able to kind of live my dream working for the basketball team, and now coming back and doing this is really, it's so cool. It just feels like a position that...
It's great to have, native West Virginia, somebody that has West Virginia's best interest at heart, in the program. You got any things in the works that you can tell us about at this point that will be coming up this fall with the football season?
Yeah, we have some...
Too early?
Yeah, no, well, it's a little bit, but not too much. We do have some team celebrations that we're going to look at doing.
You got a 50-year anniversary of the 75 team coming
correct.
up this
year,
right?
Yep, we've got a 50-year anniversary of that 75 team, and we're also going to honor that Bowden era.
Yep.
So we have that coming on. We have a pretty significant 20th anniversary this year. So with the 05 Sugar Bowl team, so hopefully we can put something together with that, especially with Steve going into the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Steve Slayton going into the College Hall of Fame. So, it's just really cool. It's really cool. I'm getting to interact with people that I grew up idolizing. Tally was playing when I was in high school, so getting to interact with him is so neat. And then guys I went to school with, and then what's been built since then. And that's what I kind of let these guys know today. Our stadium looks the way it does because of players that have come before, not because of what we have right now. They helped build that, and they need to be part of it, and they need to be recognized. Each decade going back to when you all played, take it from where it was in the 60s to where it went to in the 70s, and having a reason to build a new stadium, and then when we built the new stadium, and then having a reason to build a new coliseum for basketball, and then kind of the enhancements we need made, adding, before the Pushkar Center when we put the weight room in, and now it's such an incredible facility now. But each decade had a hand in, gradually building us to where we are, and there needs to be recognition for that, and thanks for that. And these guys put in blood, sweat, tears, and I always add time. People don't understand, the time you can't get back, and a lot of people say, well, I could have done that, I could have done this, being a collegiate athlete. No, not everyone can do this.
Well, a lot of people don't understand that, it's 7x24 or 365, as somebody described it earlier on the program today.
No off-season.
There is no off-season. People see, September through December, but they don't realize you have a January weightlifting program.
Oh, if you wait till September to get ready, you're done. You're too late. You're too late.
It's way too late.
Yeah, so it's a year-round thing, and they don't understand the time and the mental energy that goes into it. It is
and then you got spring practice, who's culminating here today with the spring showcase. And then you have your final exams, and you get maybe a month or so off. But then you get a summer workout program to adhere to on your own while you're back home.
Yeah.
And then you come back. Well, it used to be 2-a-day practices. I don't think they do 2-a-days, and sometimes 3-a-days. Hey, look who we got joining us here.
Hi, Mick.
Talking about that era, talking about the 60s era. Kenny Jozwiak.
Yes, absolutely.
Hi, Mickey.
Yeah.
Kevin Johnson, you've met
We
Kevin?
have met before, but
KJ?
it's been a while.
Hey, hi, Kevin.
Good to see you, Kenny.
Yeah. So
you can talk to Kevin. That's all right.
No.
We can do it all.
They brought Kevin on here to rejuvenate the Varsity Club and everything that has to surround the Varsity Club.
Okay.
Get it back to the glory days that Dale Wolfley had it at.
Yeah.
And he's got some great plans coming up here for the future.
We've had a really nice turnout. There was a lot of players here today, and that was pretty cool to see for a spring event. Now, having Rich back doesn't hurt.
No, that helps quite a bit.
That doesn't hurt, but the word of mouth that these guys helped me with and things, getting to 80 was pretty nice. It was pretty nice. And
Kevin, who's going to be the contact for the Varsity Club?
That's me.
You're talking to him.
That's what
He's the new guy.
I'm the new director. Yes. So
wonderful.
My first day on the job was February 17th. So we're looking at about 6-7 weeks in. So, there's a lot going on. This is my first real event. And then the next one for me is the baseball alumni weekend that we have coming in May. But it was a cool honor and pleasure it's not really an honor for me to be in the role, because I understand that connection that we need to keep as the brotherhood and the sisterhood of former athletes here. We were all in this some way. There was Noel. He came over, so that was pretty cool. But having players like Noel back on the staff, and Pat White and
that helps.
Chris Herring that played under Coach Nealon helps us send the message to the new players and the players that we have in the system now, and their connection with everybody is really nice too. So, I don't think it hurts us having a quarterback's coach that's probably the best to ever run it in Pat. So, so he's probably not a bad person to have in there helping guys out. But
not at all.
But it's just really cool to see these guys come together, and those guys hug each other and like, whoa, I didn't know you were going to be here, kind of thing. And it's so neat, so neat.
Well, the thing that's impressive about it to me is that it's a generational thing. You got people from our generation that are here. You got Pat White's generation that's here. You got Jozwiak's generation that's here.
Yeah.
As Brian said earlier, we each stand on the shoulders of each other.
Correct. Yeah.
The Mountaineer spirit, the Mountaineer program goes back decades and decades and decades. A lot of people say that, it was the Don Nealon era when West Virginia really hit the map, and there's a lot of truth to that. But I think some of the underpinnings, some of the foundation of that program that Don Nealon enjoyed goes back to the era in which we played as well. Don't you think so, Ken?
Oh, yeah. I remember the days when they had a touchdown club here in Morgantown. It was kind of before the Varsity Club. And Sam Huff would come back, and Marconi and Chuck Holly, and we were like the young guys, and we're looking at those guys.
Right.
Now those guys, a lot of them are gone, and now we're kind of the old guys.
Yeah.
But it's great because after that, the Varsity Club really picked up, and they'd have golf tournaments.
Yeah.
And we'd see guys from different eras there that would play in the golf. The Pines would get together, and of course, you need somebody to help you if you ever want to get a committee together on that.
I appreciate that.
Be more than happy to help out.
Like I said,
with
I have plans. I'm not coming in to tip the cart real soon.
No.
We got to do some gradual. We got to do some gradual things. We got to get it back out there, and everything. And one thing that's important to me is when we bring them in, like today, where we had the guys do a pregame thing at training table. So these guys can see what it looks like now compared to when they played. But another thing that I feel like is important is for our current players to see a Darius Renaud that spent time in the NFL, Adrian Morrell that spent 10 years or 11 years in the NFL.
Oh, definitely.
Let these guys know the path that you're wanting to be on can be done through West Virginia University, and we can win here. So for them to see guys that have done it, I think is really important. And, they're in impressionable ages where if they can see these kind of guys, Major was before his time, all of this kind of thing, Jozwiak, being a super high draft pick, the things that can happen here are endless.
Oh, yeah.
And I just think it's important for them to see that and to recognize and to help you guys see how far we've come. Because I was telling him earlier before you got on, each decade built the next decade. We don't get here without what was done before. There's a lot that has to do with the way the stadium looks and things like that, with the performance of Pat White, Steve Slayton, Owen Schmidt, Darius Renaud, all those guys that were here, all that offensive line, Pac-Man, the defense that we had. But before that, what they had was because of what Major did, and because of what Rembert did, and because of what Under did, and because of what Avon did. And then before that, so each one builds on to the next one, and it makes it helps us get to where we are and where we want to be. So it's important to keep these guys focused on the fact that, hey, even though you're not here anymore, you're here. Sure. So showing these guys a little bit of love is really all they want. They want to feel appreciated.
There was a time when that wasn't here, though. And then a lot of the guys from the past eras didn't feel to be a kind of a part almost.
Sure.
But now I know Rich. I knew Rich before Rodriguez, and his whole attitude towards the past and the players in the past, and even Coach Braun. He had everybody back last year. Same thing you did this year, but he had a tour for everybody. I think that's really great to involve everybody.
Yeah. And I've told a lot of the former players, I can't change the things that have happened in the past.
Yeah,
all I can do is
from this day forward,
build forward. And Rich and his staff have been so cooperative and let me bend their ear a little bit on ideas that I have for football. And then I want to work, since I work with every sport, I want to have those conversations with each sport. It's important for the coach to be involved because they are the ones that they're going to be my best contact to the teams of the past, and their alumni. So forming a relationship with each one of them is very important to me. I was here when Rich was here before too, so it helped that I had a relationship with him already. And he was so generous with his time this morning, with the time that he spent with our alumni at training table with a spring game coming up at 1 o'clock today.
Oh, great.
He was so generous with his time, and I know these guys appreciate it more than anything because they felt that love from him, and the fact that they know, hey, at 1 o'clock you're kicking off your spring game, and it's 10:30, and you're here hanging out.
And you're hanging out with alumni.
Yeah, 10:30, and he was there. He was there quite a while. He did a great job, and he's and they love it because now they start feeling like I said. You guys should never walk into that building and not feel like it's home again.
Exactly.
That's
real important.
That's a comfort level, and you shouldn't be like, should I be here? Should I not? You absolutely should be here. It's guys. I was telling them I've lived in Morgantown ever since I left WVU when I came back,
But any time that I felt like that I was a little bit down or not having a good day, I'd go over and just hang out and watch basketball practice, or something like that, because that's where my comfort level was. And Hugs and everybody that's been there since I left have been so accepting of me and letting me feel like I'm still part of the family to a degree. But I don't, football is football is big here, and football is also, if people think just from a common sense standpoint, as an alumni director of the Varsity Club, it's also where we have the most alums. Football graduates 17 to 25 a year, volleyball, wrestling, basketball, 3 to 5.
3 to 5.
So that is also the most lucrative part of our alumni. So they will always be a good focus to me, and I've said, me being the first non-football director, I wanted to make sure that football accepted me in.
Oh,
sure. So far the love I've gotten from the football guys has been amazing. But I think it's because I treat them with respect and with thanks and with open arms that you always have a place to come home to.
This group here is really a close group. Brian has that golf tournament every year in July.
Yep.
For Children's Hospital and Jeff Hostetler. It's amazing the support he gets for that tournament for 30-some years that he's been doing it.
Yeah.
And I've played the last couple of years, and one thing about Brian, when he calls everybody up there, and Bo Orlando and all those guys, it's all Nealon's guys, and he's waving to me. You got to come up here. You're part of the brotherhood.
Yeah.
And that's. And I never forget Brian never forget that he told me that and made me feel a part. Now I want to play again next year. And it's a great cause, and it's a wonderful tournament, and they have a wonderful time together.
Yeah, we're going to provide a little help for that this year too.
Oh, good.
So, we're here to support our alumni, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
And it's an event put on by one of our legends, and it's supported by his teammates. Think about all the people. A lot of the people that put this together are Brian's teammates, former Mountaineers, and things like that. So, who better for us to help sponsor and work with than them, right?
Right.
So,
as Kenny said, behind it all is the very worthy cause of WVU Children's Hospital.
Absolutely.
What a heart that Joe's has for putting that thing together, and time and the effort. And it's more than just a golf tournament, too. They had the bowling challenge on Saturday night. I think there's a dinner on Thursday evening before that tournament. For our listening audience out there, this is the weekend of July the 11th this year. If you get a chance to come up to Morgantown, participate in this, you can Google the 35th annual Brian Jozwiak Legends Golf Classic. And love to see everybody come up and participate in that, help support WVU Children's Hospital. Actually, on Thursday night, there'll be a reception at Tropics Bar, and then on a meet and greet some of the WVU legends following that, with a live auction and live entertainment that night. Then the golf tournament will be on Friday at let's call it the Cheat Lake Weekend. Okay, there's lodging available at a couple different places. And then there'll be a golf dinner Friday after with the award celebration after the golf tournament on Friday afternoon. And then Saturday, the bowling tournament with the legends, which I'm not much of a bowler, Ken. I don't know about you.
I don't think many of them are either, so it'll be all right.
I think most people will probably come out.
They throw the ball halfway down the alley.
Right. It's like gravity do its job.
You get a chance. You get a chance to show up for this, folks. It's a very worthy cause.
Not only is it a very worthy cause, it is a great weekend.
Oh, yeah.
It is a fantastic weekend. So
what Don Nealon did last year is he challenged all the players. You can get your name up in the Children's Hospital. There's a wall up there, Legends Wall, and you donate a little bit of money for that.
Yeah.
And he challenged everybody to support Children's Hospital and the WVU.
Yeah.
So
what an awesome weekend that'll be, and I think they have a meeting about it Monday afternoon. So I'm excited about us being involved in that and things like that. So
good.
Just really, really cool. Really, really cool to be back. Like I said, I'm kind of living a dream.
And as you said, it's a chance generationally for alumni to get together, as well as, the one of the great facilitators of the camaraderie that I've always enjoyed coming back to is the Varsity Club tent and the pregame party before. So I'm hopeful we can look forward to a rejuvenation of that.
I can make an official announcement
this fall.
That's rejuvenated.
Wonderful. Okay. Wonderful. That's good to hear.
We're partnered with Coke.
Okay.
So it'll be a Varsity Club / Coke tent.
Okay. Wonderful.
Different menus every week.
Great.
Love to have you. Love to have the Varsity Club members stop by and be there. So it'll be a great time. But yeah, we have plans to do that for every home game.
Wonderful.
Yep, we've already had the meeting. So
that's great.
Yeah.
So that's we can put that one down.
Yes, sir.
Did you sign up everybody for the Varsity Club tonight?
Not yet. So we've
sign them up while they're
yeah.
here.
Well, we have an interesting transition because we have moved from under the Mountaineer Athletic Club.
Okay.
So we're now under the athletic. It's now an athletic department entity.
Okay.
So we're still working on some of that behind the scenes stuff that we need to do. But the new website is up and running. So if you go to wvusports.com/Varsity Club, it'll take you right to a great. Our marketing and IT team did an incredible job with our landing page for the Varsity Club.
Oh, great.
So if you haven't checked it out yet, just the WVU Sports, the main athletic website.
Okay.
Drop down athletics and you'll see a Varsity Club deal there. And they did such a good job, but it's got some reunion pictures from different reunions that the different sports have had.
That's
So it's got a great one for women's basketball, our 04-05 basketball team that was here last fall, the Elite 8 team. A picture from the Orange Bowl team that they had. So, I mean, did a really nice job on our new website, but you can go and join now. We do have the new membership options open. We're back to the $50 annual.
It used to be $50, $50 a year.
Yeah, we're going to stick to that for a while.
Okay.
That's what people are used to.
Yep.
If you're lifetime, you're going to be locked in as lifetime. Even if we make changes, we're going to grandfather any people in that have joined that. That's not fair to them to make any changes. So as far as annual and lifetime memberships right now, we're going to leave it the same. I have some ideas what I'd like to do down the road. To me, there's a lot of room between 50 and 1,000 to do some tier levels. So I think eventually we'll do that. So I don't know who's listening, but Ren and crew, that's just kind of what I have in mind. But we also need to send some love to people that give us more too, right? So
Sure.
I want to see what we've got to kind of develop what those tier levels are going to look like if we decide to do that eventually. But in 7 weeks, I'm not coming in trying to do a ton. We want to keep things going.
One thing at a time. Thing at a time. Well, and I've heard rumors about the Bowden era reunion. Can you give us any information on that?
We're going to have a Bowden era reunion the same time that we do the Peach Bowl reunion.
The 75 Peach Bowl team?
Yeah.
So it'll be their 50th reunion.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so we're going to do their 50th reunion, and we're going to do the Bowden era at the same time.
What about when Bowden was the offensive coordinator?
I guess that was part of his era, right?
Yeah.
That should count. That should count, right?
Yeah,
that should count, Kent.
You'll bring more people
I think
that
it
way.
should.
Yeah, so we're in the process of rounding that up right now. So.
I'm saying that because I used to go to all of his offensive meetings.
Right.
And then when I left, he became head coach.
Okay.
So
gotcha.
There's a lot of us that love Bobby Bowden, would love to come back to reunion.
Kenny, I don't think we'll turn you down, buddy. I don't think we'll turn you down.
Kenny and I were a unique team. Kenny was our field goal kicker.
All right.
As a matter of fact, he was one of the first soccer-style field goal kickers at the collegiate level. He was a trailblazer.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, there's an interesting story, if you don't mind telling it, about how you were recruited into becoming a kicker in Jim Carlin's first year here at WVU. You want to tell that story?
Well, I was on I came here on a soccer scholarship.
Okay.
Never kicked a football in high school, and I broke my leg twice playing soccer because soccer was kind of a sport that we had a lot of ex-football players that were out there playing, and only 3 scholarships back then. So my second year I sat out because I had to heal up, so I was 2 years in crutches. And the soccer coach said, you can keep the scholarship as long as it takes you to graduate. But I want you to, have you thought about kicking? Greg Myers was the guy's name.
Okay.
He went on to Navy to become in professional soccer. And he said, I want to get you to get a tryout with Coach Carlin. He said, can you work out maybe this spring and part of the summer, and I'll get you out there to try out. So I did that, and I practiced all summer, and I came out, and so I went out to the field, and all these guys were out there, and here I come. And I knew them all because I ran around with a lot of them, you know.
Right.
And they were wondering, what's he doing out here? So anyway, I went out, and they said, Coach Carlin and Bob said, let's see what you can do, son. So I went out there, and I kicked for 20 minutes. And after I was done, Coach Carlin said, I don't know where you're living right now, but you're going to get your stuff and you're going to move in the dormitory because you're going to be on full scholarship. And I never kicked the ball in my life.
Wow.
So
I guess they liked your form.
Well, yeah, I was they really didn't know a lot about soccer style kicking because there were two foreign guys, Gogolaks, kicking back then.
Okay.
And then I started kicking. I had to line up my own way and I had to figure it all out myself. Sure. But it was great, and it turned out great. And I was wondering what it'd be like to be in front of 35,000 people and kicking, and it wasn't that bad. It was one big roar, you know.
Yeah.
It was kind of even worse when you were practice kicking instead of in the game.
Yeah.
So I had
locked in.
Had a good start. You know, first game we won 40-0, and I kicked 4 field goals and.
Well, but the big story about Ken Jozwiak is one year we beat Pitt, and the headlines in the Monongahela Post the next morning was Jozwiak 15, Pitt nothing. Kenny kicked 5 field goals in that game.
There you go.
And won the game for us. We had some quarterback injuries. P.D. Secret was quarterbacking that game, I think, wasn't it? Because everybody else was down.
Yeah, I think Tom
Deegan.
Tom Deegan was quarterbacking, but
okay.
Mike Sherwood came a year later.
That's right.
So
Mike was the next year.
And we were kind of down on running backs. Brian Rader was our running back, and our defense did a wonderful job, and we beat Pitt 15-0.
Wow.
So.
Isn't it incredible what happens when the defense keeps you in the game?
Oh, it was great.
Yeah.
You know, one thing about West Virginia, no matter where I go at my age, that many years ago, 50 years ago, people still remember in West Virginia. You know.
Yeah.
And so there's no state like West Virginia.
Yeah, you're absolutely. You are right. You're right.
The people were fabulous.
Well, I see Greg Christ over here. Greg,
here you go. Thank you all. And
thank
KJ,
you all for
thanks
your time.
so much for coming
thanks
on
so
with
much.
us today.
Yes.
Go West Virginia.
That's
Appreciate
right.
you, man.
Let's go Mountaineers.
If anything we can do, let us know.
Appreciate you.
Greg, I'm going to turn it back over to you, my friend.
This is what they call organized chaos.
I think so.
Yeah, I had a good break. I told Ken, I said, when I stand up too long, my legs get tired. When I sit down too long, my butt gets sore. Kind of mix of both bad worlds. All right.
Okay, here we go.
The movie stars have arrived.
That's what they say about me every now and then. You know.
And this guy, friend of mine, I guess I consider him a good friend.
Same way.
And great football player, Mickey, and back in the day, and defensive back.
Okay.
Bad man. Got to watch some YouTube videos. Lynn Murray.
Hey,
really nice to meet you.
I
see you got a Peach Bowl shirt on. What year?
1969.
69.
The very first one. 56 years ago now.
I think we was in the last Peach Bowl. We beat Florida.
Yeah.
Okay.
In that Peach Bowl.
We beat South Carolina.
Somebody had an interception in that one. I don't remember.
Could be this guy right here.
Could have been him.
Every now and then, I act like I was good. I act like I was really good. Just now and then.
So, your wife, I told her what you said. To go on, you had business to take care of.
You didn't tell her to go on. I'm gonna get home.
So, Lynn, you're up here now, and I mean you're around here a lot. Obviously, you work up here. You know, one of the themes that we've had today was talking about Coach Rod being back in the house, and the attitude that's changed. Seems like already. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I hope, it brings exciting football back. It's been a while since, West Virginia had a real exciting football.
Yeah.
It's good to be in the stands and not knowing what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
You never know what Rod going to do. He had some great teams when he was here before. And having back here, it ought to be. I think it's exciting for the town and starting for the state. I think that makes a really, really big difference.
I think one of the Mickey, and you agree with me on this. One of the themes that we picked up on today. Everybody talking about back when Lynn played, when you played WVU, you knew you was going to be in a physical football game.
Yes, sir.
And I think we lost that the last 6-7 years or so. Now it seems like we may be heading back in that direction.
Oh, at least I hope so. It's like I know the last couple of years it's like, I don't like to say too much bad things about my Mountaineers, but it's like, come on, defense.
Hit somebody. Hit somebody.
If you ain't gonna hit them, fight them, do something. To make the game kind of exciting so we can cheer for something.
Yeah.
And hopefully, they'll get back to that their way where they get the nastiness of the defense back, because the defense is not a finesse game. It's a game that you want to hit someone and just, then talk about them real bad, after I hit you. It's like, no, you ain't going to get up today, but you may get up tomorrow.
You're going to feel it tomorrow when you get up.
When you get up tomorrow, just remember my name.
You'll think of me. I was saying earlier, a lot of people think football is a contact sport. It's not a contact sport. It's a collision sport. You're running as fast as you can run, and you're hitting somebody as hard as you can hit them. I'll never forget, Greg, my offensive line coach, Jack Fligg, may he rest in peace, used to always say, Plumlee, you got to play the game with total abandonment and utter disregard for personal safety. And that's how you got to play.
And especially, in this league, it's like you want to take someone's head off.
Yeah.
It's like
not in a dirty way.
No.
Clean, it's just a good hard bam.
These days it's not in a dirty way, but when we played, it was like, I'm gonna try to take your head off, but I'm gonna try to take your head off today, and probably try to get it back to you tomorrow. Take it home with me every now and then. I think they just got to get back to their style of play, where that when they come into our house, it's I know when we played, where our job was, we lost a couple games at home, but when we lose a game at home, they understood that okay, you come in here, you ain't gonna get it just to get it.
No.
You're gonna have to fight for it.
That's right.
And I think that when they get back to that attitude, when they get back to that scenario, and understand this, you got to be fighting for the blue and gold. That is, this is your house. And then you come into my house, and, I'm going to try to take your head off. And that's what I didn't think they had.
Yeah.
I think hopefully with Rod to bring that back to him, and we'll see some defensive guys out there that just nasty.
Well, I tell you, I went over and watched a little bit of the spring showcase this morning, and I tell you, a guy that's cut of that silk cloth is Reed Carrico.
Okay.
I saw him take a couple of guys' heads off today. I mean, he was out there playing like he was in a Big 12 football game.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he was playing against his brothers. He was out there. That guy will come up and hit you. No question about it.
That's what we need.
Well, that sounds like a good defensive guy, because understand this here is I remember when we was playing, we was getting ready for a game. We was getting ready to play Virginia. And, defense, we out there, we ain't got our helmets snapped and things like that there. Mickey Walzak was our running back. And Mickey come through that, and it was just a walkthrough. Mickey come through that there whole, like 100%. He was, yeah. And, all of us, and then Nina started talking noise to us. Talking about, we looked there and said, okay, here we go. We strapped it up, and it's like offense was offense, defense was defense. And, if you was our player, we'd take your head off into the game. We ain't going to try to hurt you. We want you to play in the game, but we hit all of a sudden, didn't call practice. Okay, that's it. We're like, okay, we figured you pick it that way, yeah.
Now, Mickey, we talk about one of the things that we've learned doing this show, talk about what the accomplishments of these former Mountaineer players have been since they left WVU. Lynn is no exception to this. Lynn right now has a really important job and does great work. Lynn, talk a little bit about your place up there and what goes on.
I'm the director of Lawrence Wish Triage Center. It's a Dixon Triage Center. Understanding that the problems that West Virginia is having here, and our triage center was a link in the chain that we connected, because we understand that when a lot of times when they go into the hospital, they don't have a bed, so we supply that bed for them. We supply that bed for them for when they get out of detox and when they get out of rehab, and to try to get them into sober living. So our job. We think what we do at Lawrence Wish is very, very important. We think that understanding that there's not enough support groups that these kids have. If you're looking at a guy who has addiction, most times you don't have that there feeling, that compassion. At Lawrence Wish, we brought that compassion back to them and let them know that they're human. And our job is to get them well and get them into a position where they can be a productive member of society. So we started our triage. Remember, Mike Coles is our president. It was his daughter who passed away. Oh, wow. She passed away. I worked with her for about a month at Valley Healthcare, and so it was a blow. And her problem, she asked her dad that she said there was a lot of people that needed help, and they couldn't get help. And so her father followed through with the promise. And so he opened up Lawrence Wish. They hired me as the director. What we do is through passion. We understand that we have to treat these here kids with gloves, especially if we want them to be productive members of society, because someone did it for us. And to be that helping hand, to sit out there and make sure that these kids have jobs, have license, a roof over their head, because if they don't have a roof over their head, most times they go right back to the streets. And so if you get them right back to the streets, then here we go right back through the system again.
Same cycle all over again.
So how do we break the cycle? So here comes Lawrence Wish. So our job is, once we get them through everything that we do, we still work with them. We still started an outreach program where we work with these clients for either 6 months up into a year, where we can walk with them, make sure they have a job, make sure they're doing the things that they need to do. We work with Greg and them at Aspire, and their sober living up there they have up there. It's been a great partnership with them. So, I think these partnerships like this here works very well for the city, for the city of Morgantown and for the state.
Now, do you provide them with a place to live during that transition?
Transitioning period? Yes, we have a 3 to 10 day stay. A 3 to 10 day stay. But we don't put them out. If we can't find them a place in 3 to 10 days, we keep them a little longer. But our goal is 3 to 10 days.
Okay.
And we'll get them into a sober living. Now, once they get into a sober living, trying to find get them into a rehab.
Gotcha.
Once they get out of rehab and they can't find a sober living, then we'll take them back. Okay. And then we'll sit up there and try to find a sober living for them. And, that's where our partnerships with different sober livings through the state comes into play. And so I right now we're at 900. We've been open 2.5 years. We done had 900 some clients come through.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I think we was at 930 the last week. So it's a really, really big need. It's a really big gap that we fill, and we're very proud of the work that we do.
What's the age group of kids that you're working with primarily?
We work from 18 up.
Okay.
So, most times when you get those 18-year-olds, they still think they're invincible. They think that, I can do anything. Most of them don't really understand addiction. And they don't, they think they know everything, but we have some that comes through. Some of them are young kids that catch on to it, because we know that these days and age, the drugs that's out there now is killing them. And, you have them dying left and right, so what we do is try to do the best that we can to get them moving the way they need to be.
Yeah. Do you get them to AA meetings, to NA meetings? You provide the transport for them? Or
no, we've been.
Do you have any supervision of that?
Yeah, okay, ours is a lockdown.
Self-help group?
Our self-help groups, I have 15 recovery coaches working for me. We do something called ABA, Addiction Awareness Behavior.
Okay.
Which we hired the guy who invented it, Randall Brown. So he trained all our recovery coaches in ABA. So we turned around and hired him so we can have his program at Lawrence Wish. And Lawrence Wish is the only one that does ABA. We do it like 2-3 groups a day, individuals, relapse prevention programs, wellness programs.
Okay.
We do all that there. And then when they go to a sober living, that's when we work with them. We get into intensive outpatient behavior and things like that there. We do things like that there for them.
And you're working in the area of drugs and alcohol?
Drug addiction.
Any addiction.
Addiction. We work in the area of addiction.
Any addiction. Gotcha.
Yeah, and so it's mostly, these days it's mostly the kids coming out, they done lost everything. Parents, they done lost family, because, addiction can tear a family apart.
Sure.
We catch them. We go down that rabbit hole with them, and we bring them out.
And bring them out.
We do the best that we can.
Hey, more power to you, man.
Yeah, and line, like I was going to say, when we look at these people and see the things they've accomplished, and you watch this guy work with those folks, unreal.
Yeah.
He does a great job.
God bless you for the work you're doing, man.
Yeah, we appreciate Lynn and appreciate you taking some time. I know I joke with you about your wife. I know you got to go, man. Your family done walked out, and I know they're out there cussing you right now. Where's he at, man?
Well, she's got used to it.
It's not like you like to talk or anything.
I told him like this. They pay me to talk now.
All right, Lynn.
Great.
Appreciate you, my man.
Problem.
Hey, Lynn, great meeting you, man.
Really pleasure to meet you, too.
Keep doing what you're doing, man.
I will.
Love you, man.
All right, love you, too.
Take care, bro.
Take care.
Good to see you. Lynn Murray, everybody. I'll tell you what, Mickey.
Oh, what a great individual.
He's a great guy and does wonderful work up there. I mean, to watch him, the way he interacts with those
kids,
it's amazing. And they love him. They love him. And, my experiences up there, I worked there for 2 years above the floor, above him. One of the disappointing things is to see somebody relapse and go back into it, which is a common thing.
Well, yeah.
And we heard more than once those folks would come to us and say, I don't want Lynn to know. They didn't want him to know that they
really?
Oh, yeah.
Didn't want to let him down.
It hurt. Yeah, it hurt them to hurt him.
Wow.
That's the kind of relationship he had with those folks.
Amazing. That's amazing.
Just amazing and good football player, too. I'm telling you what, he could play. And there's Frank coming back in.
I think our buddy Frank Fear is back.
Oh, man, I tell you. What a great day talking to all these guys. And more good news, West Virginia won the first game of the doubleheader against Utah.
Good.
And also they're ahead in the fourth inning of the second game. But the big news in Morgantown just broke. And this guy over here, Darren McGuffin, did it. This is the first live 4K broadcast in the history of Morgantown, West Virginia.
There we go.
We're giving it to
Darren.
Here for Darren. Here for Darren. I tell you what, we were talking about the equipment. When he was setting up, and Frank said, I don't remember all this stuff last time I said. He has more equipment and the best equipment anybody I've ever seen.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
And you watch, if you watch, Lucas does the games a lot of times if you watch the games on TV, it's such a difference in what he puts out there,
Yeah.
and everything else
quality,
you see.
the quality of these
Quality.
broadcasts.
Oh,
I
it's just
tell you,
unbelievable.
It's unreal, and it's better than your if you're watching it on ABC or whatever.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
pictures. The
it's as
pictures.
good
Phenomenal.
as any streaming that's on the network or on the airways on the internet today. You know, I just recently retired back in southern West Virginia. I've been watching Darren's broadcast, particularly Oak Hill High School's sports broadcast, which
fantastic
assimilated my old high school. Man,
That's right.
Hope,
Yeah.
As much as I hate to say it, you know, I root for the Red Devils now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Darren's just done a wonderful job on behalf of high school athletics throughout southern West Virginia and throughout the state, and getting that the possibility out there that these parents and the loved ones can watch their kids get out there and compete on TV. It's just
it's a real gift. It's a real gift.
It really is. It really is.
Yep. That's availability. We're waiting for Mike Dunlap to call us from his hospital room.
Yep.
Those of you who know and love Mike know that he's gone through serious health problems. Had part of his leg amputated recently, and is talk to him all the time. He's doing better, Mick, but he's been to hell and back. And
he's been through it.
Oh man! So he's supposed to call. There he is.
There he is.
Right on cue.
Right on time.
How about
Magic
that?
word. Let me get him hooked up here.
Yeah, Mike's he's calling from his hospital bed.
Hold on,
Thank you,
Mike. All right, Mike, can you hear us?
I can, Greg. Can you hear me?
Absolutely. Good to hear from you.
But I can't hear you, Mike. I don't know what's going on.
I can hear you, Mike. It's Mickey Plumley here. I can hear you.
I can hear Frank.
Yeah.
Hi, Mickey.
Hey, how you doing?
We were just singing
Well,
we're just singing your praises, Mike, about everything you've meant and all the people who love you. And it's just we had you on the show a couple Wednesdays ago just to say hello. But I'm going to kick it over to my friend Greg, and he's going to ask you some questions, and you're going to give him answers. I know they're going to be good answers too.
Mike, first of all, buddy, it's good to hear you, hear your voice, and you sound so much better than the last few times I've talked to you. And it's great to see that you're getting back in action. We miss you, and just like Mark Parsons, we talked earlier. Mike plays a vital role in our show, helping us with guests and ideas. Great mind for it, Mike. First of all, how are you doing? And then after that, let's talk a little bit about the Mountaineers. So how's things going with you?
Well, Greg, as you know, and a lot of people know, I've had a series of setbacks. 2 weeks ago, I had part of my right leg amputated, and I could not tell you how much better I feel getting all that infection out. As you said, you can tell just by the sound of my voice how much better I feel. I've got a long road ahead of me, but with the support of you guys and all those Mountaineer fans out there and teammates, and it's going to be okay. And I appreciate the thoughts and prayers of everybody, and it's helped me get through this.
Awesome. You, I don't know how much you've been able to keep track of what's going on in Morgantown. I know if you're like me, with my time in the hospital, I didn't know if it was Wednesday or Saturday or 3 o'clock in the afternoon or 3 o'clock in the morning. I didn't know, so I don't know how much you've been able to keep track. But what's your initial thoughts on the Mountaineer football program?
Well, I wish Rich Rod the greatest success, and he's obviously successful. He obviously knows how to coach. In this day and age with the portal and the NIL, it'll be interesting. But I think maybe the initial product may not be what everybody wants as he gets his team together. But I look for him to be successful. As the numbers show, people want to play for Rich, and that says a lot to me. So it's not a wait and see thing, Greg. I think it's going to happen. It's the things that I would think about would be how the schedule falls. Who the competition will be, how the Big 12 will be. But I look for Rich to be very successful.
Well, I know one of the common themes that we've heard today, guys, is that it looks like Rich is bringing the toughness and the discipline back to the Mountaineer football program. I think, and again, we don't want to knock on any of the former coaches or anything like that, but it's different approaches for different folks. But I think, historically speaking, the Mountaineers have been a physical football program, and we kind of got away from that the last couple of years, it seems like, and the discipline and that sort of thing. And from what we're hearing from the former players we talked to today that attended the event today, it looks like that intensity and physicality and discipline is coming back. And I know all you former players be tickled to hear that.
Yeah, I played under Don Nealon, and, you've heard other players say, at that time, Coach Nealon wasn't our friend.
Right.
He was our coach. He was our mentor. He was, as he said before, don't make me drop the hammer on you.
Yeah.
But he would do that. And now as we've gotten older, I consider Coach Nealon a great friend. But at the time, there's a fine line between players and coaches, and how close you are and that relationship. And you're right. I think that was blurred for a couple of everybody wants to be liked. Everybody wants to be your buddy. Everybody wants to, think that they're close to their head coach. And again, they did get away from that. They got away from the 50 punches in the mouth. They punch you 49 times. We're going to punch you back 50. And I look for Rich to bring that back. The Crickets are with him. Tough as tough can be when it comes to coaches. And, it's almost a breath of fresh air, like you say, to get that discipline back.
Yeah.
You make a mistake, you pay for it. You have a stupid penalty. Well, you know what? You can stand over here beside me and watch the rest of the quarter.
Yeah.
So, he'll get back to that. Rich is hardcore, as everybody knows, tough-nosed. He was a tough-nosed player, and he's brought that into his coaching style. His many contacts in the coaching world are just phenomenal. So he's going to get it done. I think he's going to get it done.
Well, I think we all can agree, and based on what we've heard today, it's spot on with that, and I think that everybody's looking forward to it. I know we all are, and
Sure.
Sounds like all the alumni definitely are, and I know people are excited. And again, I hope that they don't expect too much too soon. It's going to take a while. I mean, Rome wasn't built in a day, as they
That's
say.
right, yeah.
And he's coming in, and it's a whole new atmosphere, a whole new ball game, and it's going to take time to get all that together and get what he wants in place. But you look at his history, you give him a year or two,
He'll get it done.
He'll get it right. He'll get it straightened out. Guys, you got anything for Mike before we let him go? We're getting close to wrap-up time here.
Well, Mike, you're sounding great. Don't you think, Mick? He just sounds.
He does. Mike, hey, Godspeed to you and your recovery, man. And
I appreciate that, Mickey. As you guys know, what I've been through, it's been tough, and like I say, the Mountaineer fans, Mountaineer fans are a different breed. Give Rich, like you say, a couple years to get his people in place, and everything's going to be fine.
Absolutely. Well, Mike, somebody, we appreciate you. Keep taking care of yourself. Keep progressing forward and getting better and better and better. We look forward to getting you back on the show.
I look forward to it too, guys. It's really kept me going, thinking about getting back on there.
Awesome.
That's
Awesome.
good news.
take care, my friend.
All right, Mike. Take care of yourself, and we will talk to you soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys. Go Mountaineers.
Let's go.
Let's go, Mountaineers.
All right.
It's amazing how he sounds today, guys, compared to a couple of weeks ago. But he was, it's, I got a chance to get to know his mother, Connie, through this, and and Greg knows that it was touch and go there for a while.
Yeah.
Because he didn't know they could catch the infection. He fell in the shower.
Yep.
And evidently there was an infection involved. It just kept on spreading, and they had a tough time. But finally, a team of doctors got him in the right direction, and a couple surgeries later, they saved his life. So good for them.
Yep, and he sounds, like you said, 100% better,
Yeah.
too. It's great. Glad to hear that. Well, guys, 6 o'clock is upon us.
It is.
Went by fast. I don't know. I guess you would call this, I would say organized chaos, but I think it was, you could probably label it unorganized chaos, but unorganized chaos or not, it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun connecting with all these former Mountaineers, and what a great bunch of guys and coaches and everybody else that's here. What a blast. This has been a lot of fun.
Well, yeah. I mean, and Greg's right. We couldn't, and Mickey and I were talking about this before. We just couldn't script this because we didn't know who was going to come through the door. And so we contacted a number of people, but boy, so many other folks came, and we're just delighted. This was a tremendous experience for us. We did it 2 years ago. And the fact that it's a 4K broadcast, and so it's historic. That says something for Morgantown, a university town, for this to be the first 4K live broadcast. So, but that's also saying thank you, Lucas. Thank you, Darren, for the good work you've done. And if people were here, they could not believe all the equipment. There's even a satellite feed outside. And so it's just fantastic. And it's always good working with the two of you guys.
Yep, enjoyed it, and Mickey, appreciate you coming out again.
I wouldn't have missed it.
Hadn't seen you for a while, and it's good to have you back in the fold. And this has been a lot of fun, like you said, Darren, with this equipment. You know, the funny thing is, this satellite, I think it's a different one now, but he first got the satellite so he could access internet from anywhere. We had gone down to the Arty Museum down in Arty, West Virginia. I don't know if y'all are familiar with that place or not. Well, if you've ever been to the end of the world and then took a left, you'd end up in Arty.
Okay.
No cell service, no bathrooms, no running water, nothing. And we did a show down there one time, and he's like, "We got to do something about this." So he invested in the satellite. So
that's great.
I know it's a different one, but that's where that came from.
Yeah, it's wonderful. It works perfectly.
Yeah, he does great work, and like I said, the equipment is top notch. His technological ability is amazing. The things that he can do with technology is amazing, and he makes this all possible. And like I said, the production is wonderful. When you look at it on TV, it's some of the best you'll see. Guys, it's been a fantastic day, a lot of fun, a lot of Mountaineers here to talk to and talk about what's coming up in the fall. We're looking forward to that. Hopefully we'll be back again next year for this spring fling. If they'll invite us back, we'll gladly come back because it's been a blast.
And that reminds me, we've got to give a big shout-out to Jerry Keglers, and also Doug, the operations guy who coordinated this. They really made it possible for us to do this. They closed this room until we had a chance to set up, and as soon as we were set up, they opened the doors. And we were expecting that it would be a while before there would be enough people here to interview, and it just filled up like in 5 minutes.
Yeah, instantly.
So we really appreciate Keglers for doing this. They're doing this really as a thank you to us, and we need to thank them. So
absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Hats off. Thank you to Keglers, and anybody familiar with Morgantown and WVU, Keglers is the place to be. That's just the way it is. It's a great spot. Appreciate everybody for tuning in here on the New River Network and the voice of college football. It's been a blast here from Keglers for the Mountaineer Spring Bash or whatever. I can't even remember what they call it, but
showcase.
Something, showcase. There we go. I always call it Spring Extravaganza. That's what I want to call it. So anyway, we appreciate everybody for having us and all the guys that came up and interviewed with us today. We appreciate those folks. Most of all, we appreciate you for tuning in. For Frank and for Mickey, I'm Greg. Good night, everybody. Let's go Mountain.